Good to have you with us on our Fox Sports coverage. You're watching America's Day at the Races. Friday action from South Ozone Park, New York. We're 13 minutes from a start in the late pick 5 on this Friday card. Live coverage from Tampa Bay Downs as well, where the sun is shining. 4 minutes to post in race 4. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. We're going to go through everything that happened on the big night last night down in South Florida at the Eclipse Awards. Bill Mott getting a 5th Eclipse Award as outstanding trainer. Flavien Prat goes back-to-back, and it was not as close as I think many thought it would be in the voting for outstanding jockey. So we'll run down all that, and we'll look ahead to race 5 here coming up at Aqueduct.
That's right. We got lots to talk about. Tampa on the turf, a little warmer there. Fortunately, they're going to stay out of the way of the weather that's going to affect about the rest of the country. I hope everybody's staying safe wherever you are. But looking forward to talking about our races and Tampa's as well.
Yeah, look like we're going to get hit hard this weekend. Well, more on that coming up, too. Race 5, though, we're a race away from this one. Starts the late pick 4. 6 furlongs, 3-year-old fillies, maiden optional claiming group, and Carol Annie. Dropped down in class, has shown ability before for Chris Englehart. What do you think of her chances here?
Well, I picked Carol Annie. I mean, this is 2 races back when she lost at a short price when she was still with Brad Cox. She obviously was virtually eased last time. She gets Lasix, as many of these newly turned 3-year-olds will get for the first time, as they can't run with it as a 2-year-old. I'm hoping that something went wrong that day and she could run back to race like this, in which case she could win. But, you know, this is a funny race. I mean, we've got, you know, races with form later on the card, whereas this one has 3 first-time starters that all could be dangerous in a field where a first-time starter is not going to be after that be that good to win. So, you know, we'll keep an eye on who may be getting bet in that race. I don't think like a 3-1 Ken McPeak horse is necessarily getting bet. But if a horse can run in there, they're going to be a short price and all likely to firster.
Yeah, several to make a case for in that spot. That's race 5. Starts again the late pick 4. We're a race away from kicking that off. Again, race 4 is just 11 minutes to post. Here's what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. We're fast here in New York. At Tampa Bay, as said, sun shining. They are fast and firm. And just 2 minutes to post in their 4th of the afternoon. Get signed up, play it all at Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere. Anytime. Bonus 200, that code to use at sign up. Get that $200 deposit match. New customer bonus. Again, right. We'll reveal there, NairaBets.com, and play along.
I don't have anything to say that's clever at Tampa. I don't know if I have anything clever to say in general, but you and I were talking about it. I thought it looked fairly chalky throughout much of their card. And this race, the 7 ran a big figure last time, cutting back in distance, and I think if he runs back to it, Union Kate, he's going to be very tough to beat. But maybe Peripoli, who's the second choice, could wire the field.
We'll see in a moment. Here's a Fada to start off the post-parade for Jose Delgado.
Goes back to the dirt where he did win 2 back, but won in a very slow race.
The aforementioned runner who won the debut. This is start number 2.
Well, this is Sonny Leone's opportunity to just send this horse to the lead and try to wire the field. I haven't watched much this week, but last week we saw Speed do pretty well.
Yeah, won at 6 furlongs, first time out. Here's Battalion Leader, 22-1.
Is undefeated in the dirt in his only dirt start, but once again, that was a very slow race.
Hard Talk, trained by Rory Miller, just one going long in the grass, though.
Another one that goes back to the dirt. He's a little bit faster than the 1 and 3, but not significantly.
Charlie Mac, this is the second biggest price on the board.
Haven't seen this horse in 4 months since running at Canterbury. You know, to be fair, the second race this horse won is fast enough to say 20-1 is an overlay.
High Yield Hunk, last time on dirt, was actually in a stakes race at Finger Lakes.
Right. The problem is, though, his dirt figures are very slow. I think he's the one who's massively overbet at 4-1.
And the big drop in class last start for Union Kate worked out well. 11 1/4 length win to break the maiden.
You know, when you look up that race, it is legit. I mean, the 6th place and 7th place finisher and 4th place finisher came back and ran much bigger figs. He runs that 66 buyer. This field's probably in trouble. To me, like the public, if either the 2 wires the field or the 7 wins, I think the only horse up there that seems to be a little bit of an overlay is the 5 Charlie Mac.
Get a $20 bonus by playing with Naira Bets. Bet at least $100 each at Aqueduct and Tampa Bay Downs today. And you'll get that $20 bonus in your account, whether you win or lose. You do have to opt in to take advantage, so good luck to everyone. So short price here in a race that's going to start off their ultimate 6 On the 7, Union Kate. Big drop down to 25, Maiden claiming to get that dominant score. And was able to sit off the pace, pounce to victory, and gets the cozy outside slot today.
Yeah, but I think that Sammy Marin's one job, and when you're riding favorites, obviously as a rider, you'd like to be on a favorite in every race. But having said that, there's a little more pressure, and I think the one potential Achilles heel is his lack of speed. And when your main competition appears to be the main speed on paper, it becomes an even bigger predicament. It's not like you've got a bunch of sort of bad speed horses battling it out, so coming from behind is less problematic. The horse he has to beat is going to have a tactical advantage in all likelihood on him. So I think that's a potential Achilles heel. Like I said, maybe you make a 2-7 with 2-7 with 5 and third, and you try to make some money here, because I think the 5 is a bit of an overlay at this point at those odds.
No love for the 6, huh? High Yield Hunk?
No, I don't like that horse at all.
Won the debut on, that's the only time this horse has been on a fast dirt track, and it was a win of the debut at odds on at 3-5. Has been on grass, most recently going long. Was in a stakes race at Finger Lakes, so we'll see what we get from High Yield Hunk, 9-2. But the public all over the 7 here. Union Kate, Sammy Marin for Joe Campbell. Let's go to Jason Beam for the call to kick off our live coverage. Here's the 4th from Tampa Bay.
Two to one, second choice, Parapoli, still not quite in. Now Parapoli goes in. Here's battalion leader, Wesley Ho for Jeffrey Crooks. Longest shot on the board, 38-1. 10-1 shot, Hard Talk going to be next. To gate 4, breaking from the middle spot in this field. The final 3 will be Charlie Mac, High Yield Hunk, and Union Gate, the favorite, who's now 4-5 on the outside as jockey Samuel Marin bids for his 3rd out of the first 4. High Yield Hunk, Jesus Castanon to the 6th stall. The final 1, Union Gate, will be all set for a start. Today's 4th, the Ultimate 6. Ready to get underway here on a Friday. Don't forget cap giveaway day tomorrow. Gates open early at 10:30 a.m. Free Tampa Bay Downs 100th anniversary season cap with your paid admission tomorrow. Field of 7, they're in the gate. And the race is on. High Yield Hunk wastes no time, goes out to battle for the early lead with Hard Talk. Parapoli down toward the inside is quick, and Battalion Leader. It's going to be Parapoli, Battalion Leader, and Hard Talk. Those are the 3 that go on. High Yield Hunk just got a tap on the shoulder to try to keep up with him as being passed on the inside there by Ifata. After that comes Charlie Mac, and Union Kate, the favorites, at the back early on and about 6 or 7 off the lead. As up front, Hard Talk and Battalion Leader do battle. Parapoli trying to hold that rail position down to their inside. It's just in behind them, Ifata and Charlie Mac move from 4th and 5th, so they're 3 in a line up top. Then comes High Yield Hunk in 6th. Union Kate still the trailer, going to be 4 or 5 wide as they run to that turn. So to the far turn they race after a 22.67 opening quarter mile. Parapoli and Hard Talk. They're still 1-2. Hard Talk on the outside, Parapoli on the inside. Charlie Mac up to 3rd. Battalion Leader dropped right out of there. Passed by High Yield Hunk. Union Kate getting underway now. Covering a lot of ground on the far outside. The favorites within 3.5 of the lead. Parapoli and Hard Talk. Those two continue to battle after that 45.50 opening half. Charlie Mac looms up 3 wide. High Yield Hunk's in behind them. Union Kate still has 4 or 5 lengths to find. They have a final 1/8 of a mile left to go. Hard Talk grabs the lead from Parapoli, but Charlie Mac a fresh challenge down the outside. High Yield Hunk's in behind them. Union Kate still 3.5 behind. Hard Talk. Here's Charlie Mac on the outside. Charlie Mac up to grab the lead late from Hard Talk. Charlie Mac, an upset winner here at 18-1. Second was Hard Talk. Third, Union Kate. After that, Parapoli and High Yield Hunk.
Charlie Mac keeps on rolling down the lane. Nice call. Andy Serling wins the 3-year-old debut.
Well, I appreciate that. I more thought this horse could be 2nd or 3rd more likely with the favorites. I didn't see the 4 Hard Talk at all, but I mean, this horse is an overlay, to be fair. That race 2 back, given this field, was somewhat competitive with these, and we've seen some Canterbury horses do well, and he got a very good trip and got it done.
Did you say 18 to 1?
18. He was 26 to 1 as they were going the gate when I bet a few dollars on him, and he ended up at 18 to 1.
Wow. Yes, indeed.
Mostly bet him for third and try and a little second exactas, but I had to bet a couple dollars to win.
5-4-7. Let's go back to New York. Start of the late pick 5. Non-winners at 2 life claiming race at 7 furlongs. Here's King Phoenix.
You know, my worry with him is his one good figure was at Finger Lakes.
Speed from the rail with the 1. Here's Messi
Yes,
the Magician.
I agree. He is the speed. Messi the Magician's had a lot of chances.
Taparino, off since March of last year.
Like most players, horse players, I've been Taparino a few times in my life. His only win on a muddy sealed track almost a year ago.
4 to 5 morning line, even shorter now. Shoot the nickel. Brad Cox off the claim.
Claimed by a sharp outfit, but does drop. We'll talk more after the post parade.
Always be smart. Double-digit odds. Slight drop down.
Yeah, his turning back in distance, which I like, though Tom Morley's numbers coming back not so great.
Easy Roll, trained by Ray Handel.
Yeah, I think this is the other horse in here. I didn't think the last race was that bad against Tougher.
Yeah, big drop. And then Solar Glare, Ruben Silvera, rider change. I have a rider change. We do not.
No, this horse is, yes, this is a rider change. Ruben Silvera riding this horse. He's also picking up the mount for the same rider on Bow Hill in race number 5. That's a good pickup by you, Greg. This horse, not my kind.
All right, let's go back to Taparino. Gray on your screen there. Hasn't raced since March of last year. Let's go back to February 6th, 2 starts ago. And from near dead last, 10 lengths out of it on a muddy track, wins by 4 lengths.
I'm going to be honest, I set this replay in because I just couldn't find another replay to show for any horses in here. And I think it says something about the race. He's not really a major contender, but if you like him at a price, take a shot with him. But I mean, the conversation in this race and your decision process in this race revolves around what you're going to do with Shoot the Nickel, who's currently 3 to 5 or now 4 to 5. And obviously I picked him. I'm not proud of picking 4 to 5s. We've seen the Brad Cox Sandy Goldfarb team in New York team up, very positive with claims. But they're claiming from a low percentage trainer, and they're dropping off the claims. There are some negatives. I'm curious to hear what Maggie has to say about this horse.
We're going to check in for the first time of the program now with Maggie Wolfendale. Hi, Maggie.
Hey guys, and that's exactly where we'll start with Shoot the Nickel, who does return here for the Brad Cox barn as a new gelding, and it does seem like the Brad Cox and Sandy Goldfarb combo have been claiming everything that they possibly can from Gold Square, as Shoot the Nickel is one that is coming in here and dropping in class. Now, as far as the gelding, he is a lot more calm in the paddock. He used to be quite nervous. They used to have to saddle him on the walk, and they had no problems with him today. Did him in the stall. He did not turn a hair. The thing with Shoot the Nickel, though, is that overall, he's just not that athletic. And look, there's a field full of horses that aren't that of the highest athletic specimens. It kind of looks like a giraffe snuck in somewhere in the bloodlines. He's just kind of awkward. He's got that long head, high head carriage, and just an extra long body. He looks fine overall. I get why he's the horse to beat here. I like the 7 furlongs for him. A furlong more is definitely not going to hurt his chances, but I'm going to take the speed here on the rail, as King of Phoenix is second off the layoff. I know he hasn't posted many fast figures, as Andy said. His lone fast race did come at Finger Lakes, which is a reason to be cautious. But last time was wired by Spirit Dragon, what played out to be a very fast pace that, Spirit Dragon kind of held it together, if you will. But King Phoenix, he was out sprinted early. He moved off the rail, 3 wide, 5 wide into the stretch, and just really had nothing. I didn't think he looked particularly good on that occasion back on December 28th. Just did not look good in his coat, didn't look together, seemed nervous. Today, none of that was present. His coat looked even better. It moved on as much as it can here in the wintertime. He just looked stronger, and he wasn't nervous at all. So we'll see how far he can take them. And then the horse that is also dropping here is number 6, Easy Roll. But while he ran okay, from a speed figure standpoint, against this field in his last start, trying the dirt for only the 3rd time in his career, I'm still of the mind that his best running is not on this surface. He looks so much more like a turf horse. Now, maybe he can outclass him a little bit, but I don't know about that. He's not one that has necessarily physically gone on from, 3 to 4, now 4 to 5. So, yeah, 5 to 1, okay if you like him, but he just wasn't for me, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. 4 to 5 remains on Shoot the Nickel, and then the speed on the rail down to 5 to 2 with a drop in class.
And I get it. I'm not, I picked the race 4.61. The problem is, while the 1 is speed, the 4 isn't slow. So the 4 is going to be sitting just outside of that horse. So I don't think that horse has any kind of tactical advantage over the favorite.
4 to 5, Shoot the Nickel. Brad Cox first off the claim for the new gelding.
It's not a great sign that they claimed him. He was a drop down that day. He didn't run particularly well. He was against the track in his last start. I believe he's probably going to win this race. But listen, I have no problem with people who want to bet against heavy favorites that are being dropped down off claims from sharp outfits. I'm not going to defend my position. I just don't have a big opinion otherwise. Easy Roll was my other horse.
Pick 5 starts here. Let's send it upstairs. Chris Griffin to get us started.
Solar Glare goes in. All set. And they're off. Messi, the Magician, right up front. And here comes Shoot the Nickel at the rail. There comes King Phoenix, and joining them on the outside, that's Easy Roll. So they were tightly packed, but now King Phoenix will assert and puts a neck in front. Shoot the Nickel will be a stalking second. Messi the Magician broke on top back to third. Is followed by Easy Roll. They're third and fourth, and they're 5 lengths clear from Always Be Smart. Then comes the other gray down at the rail. It's Taparino, and the trailer, Solar Glare, 23.23 for the opening quarter mile. Doing it easily enough is King Phoenix. No pressure yet. Shoot the Nickel tries to cut back into the margin. Messi the Magician is at the rail. As a challenging third, out wider comes Easy Roll. From the back, Taparino, Always Be Smart, and Solar Glare is the trailer. Shoot the Nickel now takes advantage, and Shoot the Nickel is up by a neck. It's Shoot the Nickel who's trying to move away here from King Phoenix, who's holding that rail position. Easy Roll in hot pursuit, and Messi the Magician still far back to the rest. Shoot the Nickel has the lead at the top of the stretch through a 46 and 4 half-mile time. Shoot the Nickel trying to sprint away. Easy Roll continues to give game pursuit. It's Shoot the Nickel and Easy Roll. They're approaching a final 16th. Shoot the Nickel, Easy Roll will not give up the chase. Shoot the Nickel almost home. Shoot the Nickel gets the victory. Shoot the Nickel over Easy Roll, Taparino, and Always Be Smart in 1 to 25.41 seconds.
Shoot the Nickel. Odds-on favorite starts off this late pick 5. Jamie Rodriguez for Brad Cox first off the claim.
Races don't always get run the way you expect them to get run, but this one sort of did. And especially with King Phoenix, not that he was going to win under any circumstances, obviously. He didn't break that sharply. So now you've got a horse that needs every bit of whatever advantage he could get to beat a horse like the 4. He's got to rush up, and there's the 4 just sitting outside of him. Nice performance by the 6 Easy Roll. Ran well to be second. Just not quite good enough to beat the favorite here.
Young rider making a big impact here in New York. Getting some big opportunities
Jamie Rodriguez?
riding for. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you something. It's rare that somebody comes in like this that I wasn't that familiar with him. He's ridden great here. Really great. And everyone's noticing it. Everyone. Chad Brown and I have talked about it a couple of times. I remember Jamie beat him with a horse, and he goes, that kid can ride. He's good.
So Shoot the Nickel, first off the claim with a win as the 4 to 5 favorite. Let's go down to Maggie.
Yeah, I cannot agree with those sentiments about Jamie Rodriguez. Be on the lookout for a feature that we are in the process of editing on Jamie. But I remember going back to 2010, 2011 when he began his career here. Things going well, then had an injury, kind of went down the ladder. And as he said, I'm climbing back up. And he has hopes of riding here throughout the year. Obviously, the waters do get deeper as we head into summer in Saratoga. But he's definitely made an excellent impression here in the winter and is riding for these big outfits, Greg, which I think is so important to highlight his talent. You think of a horse like My World, for instance, for Brad Cox. And just so you guys know, the top 2 finishers also claimed out of this 4th race.
Shoot the Nickel, 4 to 5. To kick off this late pick 5. When we come back, we'll look back at the Eclipse Awards. Bill Mott adding more hardware to his legendary career, as is his star 3-year-old, who we'll see back this year for his 4-year-old campaign. Back with you on our Fox Sports 2 coverage of America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, making the sport easier to follow. Explore stories, betting tips, and race day insights at americasbestracing.net. Odds-on favorite starts the late pick 5, Shoot the Nickel. Holds off a gallant run from Easy Roll for the victory here. Jamie Rodriguez, Brad Cox, Sandy Goldfarb.
Yeah, listen, they lost the horse. They made a small profit in their claim, and they got out. To be fair, you know, when you see these sharp outfits that drop like this, and Sandy's as sharp as they come, they're usually right. I mean, this horse, won by about a length and a half, 2 lengths in this fairly soft field. What race was this horse going to win for hire? You know, sometimes people think they're like stealing, and the reality is, when I say stealing, they're just trying to find a situation that's beneficial to them. I don't mean anything improper. And they did. They found the right field for this horse, and they got claimed, but they moved on.
So $3.68 for the win. Easy Roll Taparino complete that trifecta. As we move on to the late pick 4, the race we previewed top of the show. Maiden optional claiming race, $75,000. 6 furlong sprint for these 3-year-old fillies. And back streets. Will cut back in distance and a slight drop down in class for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a funny race coming up because so much depends on whether or not any firsters are live here. And Strike a Rose comes up, opens at 2-1. Now we'll see. She is the big favorite in doubles, though, is the 7 Maisie Blue, the firster for Ken McPeak and Jimmy Jerkins.
Yeah, debuting daughter of Maxfield, Raylu Gutierrez will ride. We'll see if that money stays with the first-time starter because that would be significant to follow the board with that scenario. Let's look back to last night and the Eclipse Awards for our sport. Biggest surprise to you was what? Or was what?
I don't think there were any major surprise. I was pleasantly surprised that Bookham Dano won. We'll talk about that some more, but I don't think there were any major surprises. And
this was
he was
an absolute slam dunk that Sovereignty was going to be named your horse of the year after winning the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont, the Travers Stakes, throwing that Jim Dandy as well. 4th horse in the history of the sport to pull off that big trifecta of wins. And he's coming back now as a 4-year-old.
No, and he is a deserving winner. I mean, there's no question about it. People can point all they want to, he skipped the Preakness. Okay, I get it. And I like a lot of fans, I wish he'd run the Preakness, but it's not my horse. And he ran in the dance besides that, and he would have run in the Breeders' Cup. I think it's unfortunate that we didn't get a chance to see him, but I'll tell you something. If not seeing him in the Breeders' Cup ends up being the reason we see him this year racing, I'll make the trade-off. How about you?
Yeah, look, he spiked a fever. It wasn't a big issue, but
I'm saying if that ends up being the reason, because I think if he had run the Breeders' Cup, we don't know if he would have won or not, but if he did, probably would have been retired. So the fact that he's running this year, I'll take a year of racing over missing one race.
Meanwhile, his trainer now tied with Bobby Frankel and Chad Brown with his 5th Eclipse Award for Outstanding Trainer, the 2nd most all time.
I'm guessing he's still a little behind Todd Pletcher and Wayne Lucas,
8.
Right? Listen, Bill's career speaks for itself. I'll be honest with you. Probably of all the Eclipse Awards that he's won, he's probably the least deserving this year of any of them because he had a very good year, and I think one of the reasons he won it, I think Bill's it doesn't matter what I think.
One of the greats
of
all time.
He's proven to be one of the greatest trainers of all time, and you've got a good horse. I can't think of a guy that's better to give to than Bill Mott, and his record proves that, whatever you think of him. And I think as highly of him as you can of anybody. But he's also had some seasons, because I've been around a long time, when he was dominant. He wasn't dominant this year. What he had was the dominant horse. And in this year where I think, unfortunately, Todd Pletcher, who I think had a year that he could have won the Eclipse, he wasn't even one of the 3 finalists. Brad Cox, Chad Brown. They all had credentials to win it this year, and there's an argument
probably
they had
credentials.
Better credentials than Bill did. But unfortunately, those guys are graded not on a curve. They're graded based on their previous accomplishments, and I don't think that's fair.
It's not.
I don't think it's fair at all. I think everybody should be a clean slate, almost take their names off of it, and vote for the person you think had the best year. And I don't think it was Bill. I'm not trying to be critical. I think he's a great trainer, and I'm happy for him that he won.
Yeah.
But this was not a year where he was dominant. He had a dominant horse.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But Always popular to see him win. Outstanding, one of the
great.
best ever in our sport. And he did a tremendous job all year long, particularly with a horse of a lifetime.
Yeah, and you're rewarding a guy who's as good a trainer as there is in the game, too, so that's fine with me.
I'll say, for me, the biggest surprise was how not close the voting was for outstanding jockey. I thought it would be a lot closer between Pratt and Ortiz. I thought Pratt should have won it. He did, but I thought it would be a lot closer.
You know what I'd love to see, Greg? If everybody could split their vote among two people and say, I'm going to vote 60% for Flavien Pratt and 40% for Irad. And then I think you would have seen it be very, very close. Because I doubt there was anybody that said, oh, it's definitely Pratt. You know, oh, it's definitely Irad. It was very close. And a lot of it was like 3-1 Pratt over Irad, and it shouldn't have been because they basically was a coin flip in a lot of ways.
Pietro Moran, outstanding apprentice, was a surprise to a lot of people with the year Jensen
won easy,
Hazelwood
too.
had. Christopher Elliott, yeah.
I thought Christopher Elliott only getting, 25 votes saying, call me a homer, and that's fine. But this kid competed on the best circuit.
In New York against this colony, yeah.
And he was winning races even when all the big guys were here. So I thought he got a raw deal, only getting 25 votes. I'm a fan.
Congratulations, though, to all the winners, including the first ever Eclipse Awards for live show to Fox Sports in our coverage.
And Greg and I congratulate him because we had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Indeed. We'll be back. Carol Annie, one of the major contenders, coming up there in the start of the late pick 4 in New York.
Now 650. I'm paying 650. I'm paying 650,000. Not anybody else wants 650,000. Not a minute. $1,650,000 $1,600,000. Thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Say hi to our new stallion, Highland Falls. From his winning debut to that spectacular Jockey Club Gold Cup.
It is Highland Falls. He wins another one, this time the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Even his buyer was high. The race his sire made his own by a widening 4 lengths. A host of Grade 1 winners far behind. High and goodbye. Running a 107 when second in an All-Star Whitney. The rise and rise of Highland Falls. High class, on the track and on the page. This is his dam, winning the Acorn and then the Distaff. Aim high. Breed to a well-bred son of Curlin. Highland Falls, new to Darley.
Next Saturday on America's Day at the Races, join Lafitte Pincay, Megan Burgess, and Richard Migliori for Oaklawn Park Southwest, the Kentucky Derby Prep, and Acacia Clement live from Tampa Bay Downs. Saturday, January 31st, 12:30 Eastern on FS2.
Back with you on our Friday coverage. You're watching America's Day at the Races, and they're over where we are located with our studio, just out inside those windows.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
That's where you can play all the
where
action.
all
and
the
Naira
magic's
Bets.
happening.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Race 5, mile and 16th on the turf, starts the late pick 5. The one classy disposition went by. Here's Classic Ballad.
Sorry, let me get my act together.
First time on the turf for Classic Ballad.
Yeah, not a lot of pedigree to speak of.
Here's Rose View, comes off a 64 buyer at Tampa.
I mean, in this field, that's close enough to say isn't impossible.
So all this money for the 4 who's never been on, well,
No,
never done much on grass, I should say.
We'll talk more after the post parade. He's an interesting horse, and he should be the controlling speed.
Tick, tick, boom, I thought was interesting.
Well, she's interesting if she can find the form from the end of 2024. She's not even remotely interesting based on her last 3 races.
Memphis Showboat is a player as well.
No question about it. She's one of the main players in this race.
Gurley the Butcher, taking money 6-1.
You want to know where that name comes from, just a little bit, right? Another horse who has back form, but recent form is bad.
Here's the one to beat, 3-2 favorite Alcohol.
No question about it. This is the horse to beat.
Compass Fire is 1 for 5 on the lawn.
Is not one of the horses to beat.
And she fled the scene, being kind. 5-time winner on the grass.
Now, her last race was bad. She's one that has a couple of races, though, that make her not impossible in this race. You know, we were talking a little about the 4, Sister Supreme, before. The 2 turf races are 5.5 furlong turf sprints. One is terrible, but one is actually good, and it's right in line with the races that she was running at the time. And she's the controlling speed, but you and I think, are on a similar page. It is tough to stretch out turf sprinters and get them to hold on. It's a lot different than dirt racing.
Back to New York in a first-time starter, taking attention here for Ken McPeak. Maisie Blue, the 7 debut coming up as we're approaching the 9-minute mark to post. Let's go to Maggie.
As we'll take a look here at the 2-1 favorite making her debut for Kenny McPeak and Jimmy Jerkins. I always like to give Jimmy the credit. Now, she was very professional until they have tried to get the tack on her because she was quiet as a church mouse, and then, you know, they put the girth on her. She kind of hucklebucked out of the stalls, and now they're putting the overgirth on her, and she's not thrilled about that either. But she does come in here looking incredibly fit and streamlined and athletic and the whole 9 yards. But I do wish she looked just a touch stronger, you know, to compete against some of these horses that do have experience. But then again, the horses who have experience, most of them are coming in here off of not so great effort. So I get the appeal of her. Now, I did go back in the time machine and back to April of 2025, where she sold at the OBS, June, at the OBS open sale for $43,000. She did work 10 and 2. She was asked a little bit. What I kind of gathered is that she just might need to go a bit further than this 6 furlongs, at least based upon that work, which obviously was 7 months ago. She just kind of looked as though she had that long loping stride to her, where it wasn't that quick, rapid type of sprinter stride. So we'll see how she does here, but I do think the money is meaningful. She has a daughter of Maxfield, who last year with his 2-year-old struck at 17%, and the dam did win first time out in a dirt sprint. Now, the lone half sibling only ran on turf and went 0 for 6 in its career. Moving on to number 2, Strike a Rose. This one is a daughter of Known Agenda, where ironically his best numbers have come with turf sprints, question mark, scratching my head about that one, but has not produced that many first-time out winners in his brief stud career so far. The dam, she was on race, and this is the first foal to run, but the second dam, she was a decent dirt sprinter, and she was half to a grade 1 winning synthetic sprinter, but also multiple stakes winner on the dirt sprinting as number 2. Still talking about number 2, Strike a Rose here. Yep, she's still on the screen. She's a big, good-looking girl. I love what I'm seeing from her physically. There's a lot of her. There's a lot of conditioning. There's a lot of strength as well. So of the first-time starters, at least based on physical appearances, Greg, do prefer the 2.
First-time starter for Jeremiah Engelhart. Let's go back to Tampa, loading for the start of the late pick 5, the favorite, 3-2. That is the 9. Alcohol, who was just in for starter handicap, 16,000 starter handicap, tougher group. Ran credible. And now the drop down in class.
How about 5-2 on the 4 at Tampa? I get it, but that's. I mean, you want to take 6-1 or 8-1. This horse is a little on the clever, wise guy, but 5-2. Good luck.
Awfully short. Jason Beam, the call. Race 5, mile and a 16th on the grass.
She fled the scene. The final one will be all set for a start. She fled the scene, goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Compass Fire got away well from the outside. Sister Supreme is close up. And to the far outside, Alcohol came away in good order as they go through that first 16th of a mile. It's Sister Supreme in the yellow colors just in front of Compass Fire. Classy Disposition down toward the inside is out of joint third with Classic Ballad, who moves up to that one's outside. Alcohol's wrangled back in 5th in the early going, about 5 off the lead. After that comes a Rose View. It's a length and a half more back to Tick, 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 Boom. Right to that one's outside. She fled the scene. The gray is third last. Memphis Showboat. And the other gray, Gurley the Butcher, is the early trailer with 6 furlongs left to go. On the front end, it's Sister Supreme. Sister Supreme, a length and a half. Classic Ballad, who's now up into second. Compass Fire now back a spot third as they navigated that opening quarter, 23.93 seconds. Classy Disposition moves to the outside of Compass Fire as Alcohol continues fifth, out about 3 paths wide. It's 2.5 more, then back to She Fled the Scene. Rose View, another break of 2 back to Tick, 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 Boom. And the second last runner, Memphis Showboat, still a long last to Gurley the Butcher. 3.5 furlongs from the money. And Sister Supreme at 2-1. Leads Alcohol, who made a little bit of a move there to get up into closer range into the second position. Classic Ballads toward the inside. A length and a half more back to Classy Disposition. After that comes Compass Fire. It's another half length back to She Fled the Scene, who's running back in 6. Rose View, Tick, 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 Boom, and the rest. Up front, though, Sister Supreme and Sunny Leone lead him around at the top of the stretch. They bump the margin to a length and a half. Alcohol is after that. Trying to run on Classy Disposition. Tick, 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 Boom is starting to move down the far outside with Classic Ballads saving ground. Final eighth of a mile left to go. Sister Supreme, a 3-length margin. Tick, 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 boom. Moving up to the outside of Alcohol. Down toward the fence is Memphis Showboat trying to rally along with Rose View. Sister Supreme, tick, 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 boom. Sister Supreme, a length and a half. Tick, 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 boom was second. Third, Rose View. Fourth, Alcohol. Fifth, Memphis Showboat.
Sister Supreme, the stretch out back on grass, got pounded on the tote board, but they were right.
They were. They knew. I think taking 2-1 on this horse was crazy. But as a result, it was not. Listen, we knew the horse was the speed. As we said before, the horse had run credibly in one turf race. But that was 5.5 furlongs. But the 9 did not get a great trip, but he was terrible. And the 6 was a total no-show.
Big long shot, Tick, Tick, Boom winds up second there.
Who you liked?
I did, but was not going to get that win. One has to settle for second. Riders up here in New York as we get set for the post parade for the late pick 4. And Manny Franco,
I have a question.
About to hop aboard.
Is the 7 really getting bet here? I know he's favored, and he's a heavy favorite in doubles. He's like 6-5, 7-5 in doubles. Is he getting bet, or is he getting bet sort of just because the horses that run aren't very good? It's, a barn that wins. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. There's not a lot of pedigree, but you're not going to need a lot here.
It just seems too big. McPeak, not usually known for having him ready to fire first time out, but that's sort of changed.
It changed this year. I mean, he had excellent summer in Saratoga with firsters. And I think, having Jimmy as his trainer in New York also can have an effect in that as well, because Jimmy is a trainer that can get him ready to win first time out. And it's obvious he's done a sensational job with the horses he has.
It's Jose Lezcano hopping aboard Backstreets, who is taking a drop for the first time, career start number 4.
He's kind of the horse to beat of the ones that ran, right? I mean, he's run the best dirt figures of anybody as he drops down a little bit.
I agree with that. Here's the 1, Speed, and backed up in the debut after stumbling a bit and against better company, but it was 53-1.
I agree, but I mean, I thought he was an overlay at 6-1 before scratches on the morning line, and he's a huge price. He's very playable.
First-time starter here, Strike a Rose. There's Manny Franco.
Not taking much money in this field. I'd want to see a little more because Jeremiah is a trainer that can take money with firsters and win.
The drop down and turn back in distance for Backstreets.
Probably the most logical of the horses with experience.
Carolani, we talked about top of the show, 8-1 right now.
I'm going to bet a little bit on this horse to get back to the race 2 back. Not much confidence, though.
First-time starter, Ruben Silvera rides Beau Hill.
This was a big pedigree for turf, huge turf pedigree. See if it can run the dirt. Take a little money.
2-1 favorite, first-time starter for Ken McPeak, Maisie Blue.
Not going to have to be very good to win this race, and maybe she's just the right horse in the right race.
And then K Road, who was second sprinting in the debut, stretched out, struggled. Now a lot of changes.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to make a case for this horse, and I watched the races. Ultimately, I thought she was a little slow, and 7-2 is no bargain on her. I mean, I don't know why she's 7-2 and the 1 is 9-1.
No.
That doesn't make sense to me.
1's way too big a price.
I mean, I don't have a problem with her saying she's impossible to win this race. I just think she's a bit of an underlay.
Blinkers on, Lasix turn back in distance for the 9 as we go back to Carol Annie. 9-1. Let's take a look back to 2 starts ago. Took the lead in the stretch and then gets run down late.
Not a lot of choices of races to show where horses finished close, so I chose her. I don't really have anything to say about it. I think she ran well enough in this race. She was claimed out of to be a contender in here, but she also lost at 4-5 for Brad Cox that day. It was first-time dirt. But I respect Chris Englehart, and I think she'll run better today with Lasix. I'm not going to make an
Excuse at all for that last start?
I mean, unless the horse bled, there's nothing I can see apparently. But it was a little too bad to be true for me. But listen, I'm not going to sit here and sing a big song about loving any horse in this race.
10-1 on Carol Annie. So we go back down to Maggie.
Yeah, I kind of have the same sentiment about not really loving anyone in here, but I do think that, some of these horses getting Lasix for the first time is integral. So let's start by talking about number 4, whom I think it could be the most important for back streets. And I know maybe a mile proving a bit too far, but she was running at 7/8 before. So, and running okay figures against tougher fields. Now, she broke running from the far outside. She tracked the pace 3 wide, and she just stopped. And you could see it in her stride. I mean, she went from, a big stride to literally like a collected canter. And it was her doing. It was not Raylu, easing up on her as he was asking her, and she didn't switch leads. And maybe it was because she bled, which could be a factor, because this is a horse that when she began her career, I thought looked so good in her coat and had great flesh, and she just looks a bit dull now overall. So I wonder if that's going to move her up. Now, number 1, Call Me Jal. A little bit of a mishap in the paddock, but hopefully her groom's fine. It wasn't really her fault other than she tripped him up, and it was just a kerfuffle. But I think she makes sense here. I think she's interesting. As Andy pointed out, she's the one that's a big price that could be effective here. As I did land on K Road, not that I'm overly thrilled about her, but I do like the cutback in distance. I thought it was not a great ride in hindsight. She was strangled back to last shortly after the start. Then she kind of went up 5 wide around the turn, and it just wasn't a fluent race for her. So I do like the turn back. She has much stronger hindquarters than when she began her career. So I think that's an important stop. Look, she's taking more money than I'd like to see here, Greg, but I do think she's a player.
Here we go. Thank you, Maggie. 9-5 now. Even more money on the first-time starter for Ken McPeak, Maisie Blue.
Actually, it was a negative backflash. This horse went to 8-5 and now drifted to 9-5 and 2-1. I don't know. I don't think this horse is getting bet like they love this horse, but she may win just because of the field.
And this one still taking plenty of support. The 9 here. K Road 3-1, turning back in distance. Chris Griffin, the call to kick off the late pick 4.
Last to load. Maisie Blue goes in. All set. And they're off. K Road flashes speed to the outside. Call Me Jal at the rail, and now Call Me Jal puts a neck in front. Call Me Jal is trying to sprint away early. Backstreets is right there, is holding second. Now cuts back into the margin of the leader. Just off of them is K Road in third. At the rail, there's Strike a Rose in fourth. Maisie Blue is following them, is in the 5th position. Another 3 back to Carol Annie and the trailer, Bow Hill. They work into the far turn, 23 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. Call Me Jal is the leader. Backstreets from second, K Road 3 wide in third. Then comes Strike a Rose, is in behind horses in 4th. Maisie Blue, learning this racing game right now, is back in 5th. Didn't like some of that kickback, is down at the rail. Up on the outside, here comes Bow Hill, and from the back, it's Carol Annie. They reach the top of the stretch, and Backstreets is trying to get away. Call Me Jal can find no more now. Strike a Rose is ranging up on that leader, and Strike a Rose ready to challenge Backstreets. K Road in pursuit, center of the racetrack, approaching the final 16th. It is now Strike a Rose who's the leader, up by 2. Strike a Rose, Manny Franco, geared down, wins it. Strike a Rose will win it. Then came Backstreets, K Road, and Call Me Jal in 1:12 and 4.
5-1 on the first-time starter. Jeremiah Engelhardt trains. Manny Franco aboard.
It's the first fall from this dam to actually race. And did not really get bet. Got a perfect trip, but won as much the best here. Manny just cruised by and just won for fun in here. The 7, who, as we mentioned, was backflashing, she was last. She didn't run at all.
Borden was not right on this occasion.
No, this horse really wasn't bet to be 5-1. I mean, you would have thought between the 5 and 6, the 5 would be a significant fraction of the 6 in here, and they were relatively close in odds. And she won for fun.
2-4-9-1, 5-1. Strike a Rose wins her debut, owned in part by her trainer, Jeremiah Engelhardt. Rolling right on by the more experienced back streets here. But in this case, experience did not matter.
No, this horse, good trip or not, she was professional in her debut and got it done. She found the right group, but she won easily. Congrats to Jeremiah, who I know is watching the show. He would never miss our show.
That's good to hear.
Well, you know,
We say a lot of nice things.
he has his priorities in order. Good man.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. Prices from that win when we return. We will look ahead to opening week next week out in Hot Springs and talk Triple Crown Trail from Arkansas. Stay with us as our Friday coverage here on America's Day at the Races continues. Good to be with you on our Friday coverage. Thanks for tuning in. Late pick 4 underway in New York. It's Strike a Rose. Has to be a Madonna connection here, right?
Yeah, I think Madonna's a part owner.
Winter Circle lead-in, brought to you by the Fasig-Tipton Kentucky Winter Mix Sale, scheduled for February 9th in Lexington, Kentucky. Enter now at FasigTipton.com.
Nice to see Manny get the win, too, for Jeremiah here. Couldn't have gotten a better trip here. Had the speed to stay close. Sat in the pocket. Very professional for a first-time starter, working out that good trip. And just best in the right field, and really the only firster that showed up at all in this race.
Yeah, the 4, as we mentioned, the experience probably was the deserving favorite. Went off at 5-1.
It's crazy that the 4 was 5-1 and the 9 was 3-1. I'm not saying the 4 had to beat the 9, but on paper, you would think if somebody said to you one's 3-1 and one's 5-1, you would be certain it would have been the 4, right? That was 3-1.
Yes. But it's a first-timer getting the job done. And now Strike a Rose on to bigger and better things here. We do have prices. Let's bring them to you right now. So let's see what Strike a Rose returns. $13.96. Not bad on your 5-1.
Yeah, almost 6-1 actually. I'm just looking at what the morning line was.
It was 4-1.
The 4 was 9-2, and the bottom was 6-1. Yeah. So they even fooled the morning line maker, which doesn't happen a lot around here.
Pretty modest pick 5 there. $50. Do better in the late sequence, which is, of course, already underway.
Well, that horse will help you probably.
Yeah, late pick 3 starts here. 6 furlongs. New York breds, 35,000 starter allowance. And Apollo Cold is going to likely be your favorite at post time here off that big win last start.
Yeah, heavy favorite. Looking at the pick 3s, heavy favorite. Those odds mean nothing. I have to bet on Smile and Say Cheese here. Smile and Say Cheese, I believe, is the first horse coming back that raced on the dead rail, and I am fully committed. I'm in on Smile and Say Cheese, for better or worse.
Okay, turning back in distance. The win, that 83 buyer, was a complete outlier.
It was, but I mean, this horse could win if he's able to run his races 3, 4, and 5 back. So I don't think he needs to run the 83 to win here. So I don't mind that.
All right, we'll get back to it. Look at the field more in depth. Let's go back, or talk about what's coming up next week, I should say, out in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Oaklawn back with us with so many big races, obviously. That incredible series on the road to the Triple Crown. They're back in action January 30th, and some very exciting horses we've already been introduced to.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody is dealing with weather issues, and we're certainly hopeful that they'll be able to race next weekend. And we hope everybody down there is safe because they're expected to get a tremendous amount of snow this weekend. But excited that Richie's heading down there. Megan is already down there, so we'll have a full team.
One of those exciting horses, of course, Decode 99 buyer in the debut. And now on the Triple Crown trail for Ray Ashford. Let's check in with Megan Burgess for more.
Well, thrilled to be on the backstretch and in the barn of Ray Ashford Jr. And Ray, there are maiden-breaking performances, and then there are performances that Decode put forth on opening weekend. The fastest 2-year-old we've ever seen at Oaklawn Park, and we are all dying to know, how has he been doing since then?
He's been doing fine. Really, really good. Training very forward.
He's a son of Speightstown. We discussed this off camera, but you mentioned that he does train like a horse that will get this route of ground distance, obviously stretching out for the first time in this Southwest.
I think he can. He does train like he can get the distance. When we work him, he gallops out very good past the wire. Seems to handle it well.
Decode, one of the most impressive maiden performances we've seen here at Oaklawn Park as he takes on the $1 million Grade 3 Southwest next weekend.
Fingers crossed, because, yeah, next week weather is certainly going to be an issue out in Hot Springs. We will hope for the best. We'll keep you posted.
Yes, obviously. We certainly hope they get started. Looking for that. I'm looking forward to seeing that horse run. I mean, a 99 buyer first time out. Whether he turns out to be, a Triple Crown type horse or a sprinter, I mean, we could see him this summer in the Woody Stevens and the Alan Jerkins. I mean, this horse clearly has a significant amount of talent.
That was a lights-out debut.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Waiting to see what happens with Ewing, where he lines up next for Mike Cassie.
I believe that he missed some time. In my understanding, I talked to somebody that thought he's probably going to come back. I could text Mark and ask. In a sprint sometime in February, he doesn't strike me as a Triple Crown type horse. He strikes me as a sprinter as well, but he's obviously talented as well.
All right, so that's right around the corner. Looking forward to their return. And, just saw Meg, I think, pushing off soon. Hitting the road tomorrow, maybe.
He came in to see us today. He just missed us that much. It's understandable.
I'm going to miss him a lot, too.
Absolutely.
But we'll have plenty of chat with him on air. Back to Tampa when we return. There are 8 minutes to post in race 6. We'll be back.
And a dare manner will take the Clementel Hirsch. Arcangelo, the Belmont winner in charge. The Grade 1 Whitney to Arthur's ride.
Olympiad gets the gold.
Tap it twice! Tap it twice!
It is Timberlake who's going to win.
She's so speedy in that sprint. Sierra Leone in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Magnificent was Full Count Felicia. Never in doubt.
Coming down to the finish. First World War. Fort Washington on the outside. They're coming down to the line, and Goliad does it.
Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This winter, give the gift of racing with Naira Bets gift cards. Share your passion with friends and family or instantly fund your account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NairaBets.com. Enhance your handicapping with AI Fast Facts, exclusively on Naira Bets. Open your Naira Bets app, click View Runner Details, and a stat-driven fact will appear for all U.S. thoroughbred racehorses. Download the Naira Bets app to start using Fast Facts today.
Welcome to McMahon Thoroughbreds. I'm Joe McMahon. This is my wife, Ann. We're the proprietors of the McMahon Thoroughbred Farm. We bought this place in 1971. This farm here was 88 acres back then. It's now over 800 acres.
McMahon Thoroughbreds is the birthplace of Funnyside, the winner of the 2003 Kentucky Derby and Preakness.
This area has become popular for horse farms because of its proximity to the Saratoga racetrack and sales, to the extent that now we have 4 major horse farms right within a few miles of here. There's Mill Creek Farm, there's Rick Burke's Irish Hill Farm, there's Quest Royal North, as well as McMahon Thoroughbreds. Probably more importantly than those large farms, there's lots of mom and pop farms with 1 or 2 mares in the backyard. The area has really come into its own in the last 20 years.
I measure success by the quality of the New York breds that are now raised in New York State. With this fantastic breeding program, out-of-staters have been lured into the state, bringing better stock, better stallions.
Currently, we have a horse here called Central Banker. He's pretty successful, he's very popular. We're very blessed to have a good horse like that.
We're getting a much better product to race in New York.
For more information on the New York Bred program, go to nybreds.com. Breeder awards that pay up to 40% of purse money earned. World-class stallion roster in 2026 that combines blue blood genetics with rich purses and awards for the ultimate New York sired advantage. Be part of it. There it is. Scan that QR code for more information, not to mention be part of the iconic race meets Saratoga this summer. Final Belmont Stakes ever to happen there, and then the reimagined Belmont Park set to open this fall. We can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, as much fun as we've had in Saratoga for the Belmont Stakes belongs at Belmont Park. And it will return to its rightful home in 2027. And we're opening September 18th. And so that's looking forward to that a lot.
Back to Tampa, and you had felt, I think public agrees, El Chispazo is a big standout in this field. We'll get to him in a moment. Let's start our post-parade with St. Louis.
Yeah, this horse has run okay in the last couple of starts. I thought this was a bit tougher, though.
Triple Pass next. Wow, price has come way down to 7-2 right now.
Trainer's 4 for 21 off the claim on dirt, but 0 for 4 in routes.
There he is.
But obviously has some credentials.
Let's get some weight here, too, with a 7-pound apprentice rider aboard. Capazzo moving in the right direction form-wise.
Well, stretches out second off of a 7-month layoff for a trainer whose numbers stretching out the dirt are respectable.
Hard to make a case for Cool Rags.
I agree.
Big price, biggest on the board at 31-1. Max's map.
Well, this is a turf horse, not a dirt horse. One win in the dirt was on a wet track. I didn't like him.
Pando comes off a win against softer competition.
Yeah, he was claimed out of that race by a trainer who has decent numbers off the claim and 3 for 8 at Tampa, but won't beat cheaper.
Even money favorite, and it looks imposing, El Chispazo.
Run 2 figures that blow this field out of the water, and he's the controlling speed on paper. I don't see the Achilles heel. He shows up, he wins.
Yeah, looking for Roses, 15-1 outside.
Claimed out of the last race for cheaper and didn't do any running. Good luck stretching out. More of a synthetic horse. The last race was the only dirt race.
You see him, El Chispazo, getting an easy lead again?
Well, I find at Tampa you're at the mercy of the rider decisions, but on paper, El Chispazo is certainly supposed to be loose.
All right. One has a little bit of pace. See if that
yeah,
one
he does,
pressure.
but the 7's faster.
Back to New York and back to Maggie.
And we'll take a look here at the favorite. That is number 6, Apollo Code. He'll go first off the claim for Ray Handel. I remember really liking him for Paul Barrow in his last start. You know, he just kind of caught my eye from the time in the paddock to the warm-up and ran accordingly, as he does look to be the main speed here yet again. So same impression here in the paddock. All things good for your favorite, as this is a pretty niche condition. You know, it makes claiming these New York breds fairly appealing with this starter allowance 35. So I think he fits really nicely with this crew at this distance and should definitely be the horse to beat. Now, one that has had some trouble staying on the racetrack is number 4, Gone. And looking at him, you can kind of see why. This guy is huge and maybe not the most correct as far as his conformation. So that's just going to naturally lead to some issues. But this is the first time that he's going to be able to pair races up back to back now as a 5-year-old and only his 4th start. And they turned him back, which I got totally why they began him going a mile in his first 2 starts, because he's just that big, and he's a very laid-back horse as well. Now, he got a little bit of action to close into, but I thought he, you know, ran well, kind of doggedly getting up in the shadow of the wire. So I think it's a good sign that we see him right back here at the races. Makes a lovely impression here in the paddock. Still really big guy, and carrying his weight and conditioning incredibly well. So we'll see what he does against winners for the first time. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Post-parade coming up in a moment. And Apollo Code, who we told you would be favored at post-time, has become the favorite. And see if he can back up what he did last time out.
I mean, if he runs his last race, he's a very likely winner of this race. There's no doubt about that. But he was able to get clear that day on a track that was extremely kind to speed. And so I think he's a little bit dressed up. And that's not surprising when you look at his races. It's the best race he's run in quite a while. Often those are races where you take advantage of a racetrack or a situation in their favor, which he did last time. Now, he may be the controlling speed again. I don't understand what Cam Duke is doing in here if they're going to rate him again. I don't know why they rated him in his last start. He's a need-the-lead type, so I kind of wonder if Eric's going to be more aggressive with him, and that could present a bit of a problem for Apollo Cold. And I guess logically, if you think that's the case, then Brave Buck, who's the second choice, becomes more dangerous. But I'm going to bet against all of them.
With
the number 2, Smile and Say Cheese,
who is 12-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, he was buried down in the dead rail for most of the race against much tougher last time out. And obviously his race 2 back is a bit of an outlier fig, and I don't really trust it. But even if he can run back to 3, 4, and 5 back, especially if, like me, you think the 6 isn't going to run back to his last race, I think he's very competitive, and he's too big a price.
Yeah, double-digit odds. Talking about the 2, Smile and Say Cheese. Huge outlier performance win 2 back. But as you mentioned, no chance on that dead rail last start as we get back to Tampa. And loading here for race 6, mile and a 16th. Big, deserving favorite, El Chispazo, who's especially that last start. No one seems like they can touch him if he comes close to that.
I think he runs his race 2 back. He's going to win for fun in here. He seems to be in raging form, and from a pace perspective, he has the field at his mercy. He's not a 4 to 5 I'd try to beat.
Adamar Santos rides. We're set. Let's go to Jason Beam for the call.
Field loaded quickly here. So we just await looking for roses, and Wesley Ho to the outside. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. St. Louis from the inside out well. Capazzo flashing some speed. Between them is Triple Pass. And right to the outside, El Chispazo now coming up to make it 3 in a line up front, as Triple Pass going to sit just in behind the trio up top. After that comes Max's Map in the orange colors. A 3-wide trip here for Looking for Roses. It's a break of 4 more lengths then. Back to Cool Rags, and Pando is the trailers. El Chispazo able to clear now. Grabs the lead for Adamar Santos and gets over toward the inside. Now a length and a half in front of Capazzo. St. Louis back 3rd. Out wide Looking for Roses in the 4th position. They got that opening quarter in 23.04 seconds. So the backstretch journey begins, and Ademar Santos tries to throttle that speed down a little bit of El Chispazo, the odds-on favorite, a length and a half to the good. Capazzo in second. St. Louis is joined on the outside by Max's Map. Between horses looking for roses, and in the two path there is Triple Pass. Still now 4 or 5 more back to the pair at the back, Pando and Cool Rags. 46.45 seconds, so it's been an honest tempo up top here for El Chispazo, who's bumped that lead out to almost 2 lengths. With 3 furlongs left to go, El Chispazo 2.5 in front of Capazzo in second. Triple Pass up alongside of St. Louis. They're third and fourth. Then comes Looking for Roses. Max's Map dropped right after it. Pando is starting to get underway. Is racing 6th toward the outside. Yellow and green colors. Still about 6 off this favored leader who comes to the top of the stretch. El Chispazo past the 3/16 pole. The lead's 3. Capazzo. Pando down the far outside. Triple Pass between them. El Chispazo trying to see it out for another furlong. Pando looks to have the best momentum of the rest. Capazzo still battling with Triple Pass, but at the 16th pole, El Chispazo is still well in front. El Chispazo, a gate-to-wire score. It's a couple impressive wins here this meet for El Chispazo. Won that one by about 7 in the end. Capazzo was second. Pando stalled out a bit to get third. Fourth was Triple Pass.
El Chispazo made 3 to 5. Looked like value here.
Able to clear 3 wide of the turn, but cleared away from them easily when they hit the backstretch, and he was always in control. And I'm not even sure he looked like he was extending, but he still managed to draw away from the field further in the stretch. He found the right bunch, and he is in raging good form.
2 wins, last 3 starts. 4 wins, the last 6 starts. And wins it 3 to 5. In race 6 as we get back to New York. And post-parade coming up shortly here in this 6th, where Apollo Code for Ray Handel. Going to try and wire this field.
I'm curious to see how it's run, because he could be the speed, but I don't understand why you are going to continue to run Cam Duke in the hopes that he's going to suddenly be different than he ever was. I'm not saying he's likely to win the front end, and he's 2 for 31, but the best races he runs is when he's on the lead. So just let him roll. He is fast enough when he runs his good races, but recently they've been sort of rating him, and it's just not working out. Now, maybe he's also losing his form as well, which could be part of the equation.
There's Jamie Rodriguez. We've already seen him win on today's card. He'll be hopping aboard the favorite here as we get set for our post-parade coming up. Lightly raced and interesting just because he is a bit of a price now. He's an overlay. Foregone the 4.
Yeah, I don't like Foregone because I thought he got extremely fortunate last time with a perfect trip, and sort of last time was the time, coming off an 8-month layoff, almost a 10-month layoff, I should say, excuse me. But I guess he's got some fans. I'm just not one of them.
Kick things off the post parade with Liberty Rising.
Yeah, I don't know what race he's going to run that's going to make him competitive. He's thus a big price. Even his best race is not good enough.
Next store, the one you like, Smile and Say Cheese.
It's a horse that had credentials as a 2-year-old to be a decent horse, so maybe his race 2 back, not as big an aberration as you think, and I've got to bet a horse back off a dead rail trip.
Here's Skytown, blinkers on.
Claimed by this operation that's only had 4 claims over the last 5 years, no success whatsoever, not for me.
Here's the aforementioned Foregone for Chad Summers.
Got the money last time, can he repeat?
Brave Buck. This runs sort of the same race each of the last few starts.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings. I do think the rail was a bit of an advantage last time, and he was somewhat compromised, but he didn't have a terrible trip. He's a contender.
It was a big jump forward, and now he's the deserving favorite Apollo Code,
Yeah,
but can he do it back-to-back?
To me, I've got a 10-to-1 shot that was hurt by a bias last time versus a 6-to-5 that was helped by the bias. There's no question where I'm going.
And then Cam Duke, 15-to-1 outside.
Now, I don't think he can win the race, but he is a potential thorn in the side of the favorite. We'll see if he turns out to be.
2 minutes to post. Here in the 6th, back to Maggie.
Yeah, when it comes to Cam Duke, last time out, he was wearing an extension blinker for the first time. So a blinker that is completely covering his right outside eye. And he was breaking more from the inside that day. And while Jimmy Ryerson told me that he is a horse that in the mornings frequently tries to lug out, and sometimes that's usually the case when you're trying to keep a horse slower. You know, obviously they go slower in the mornings when they're doing their routine gallops than what they do do in the afternoons, that they'll resent that a bit. And, you know, their biggest escape is to sometimes bear out. So that's why he ultimately decided to put it on him in the afternoon. Now, watching that last race, in which he broke a bit slower, as horses often do, especially wearing that equipment for the first time, he just never looked comfortable either down on the rail because he couldn't see the horses on the rail, and it just made Eric Cancel's job that much harder. Well, now he gets to draw to the outside, which at least he gets to see the other horses breaking to his inside, and there's nobody to his outside. He doesn't have to worry about that. So I think it's a little bit interesting. A lot of times they will break a bit better when they, you know, are wearing it for the second, third, fourth time, etc. But again, a lot of times that extension blinker can be more of a hindrance than a help. As we'll take a look here at number 2, Smile and Say Cheese. Now, to be fair, I've never been his biggest fan. I've just felt as though this horse is way too quirky at times and not as honest as one would hope. And granted, in the past, I haven't liked him physically, but as of the last 6 months, he's kind of rounded into better physical form, good energy in the paddock. As Andy said, he was completely against the racetrack, and I like giving Jorge Vargas I like giving another jockey a chance here with this horse. So while he is cutting back in distance, he was quite energetic in the paddock, in the post parade. So I always like to see that kind of disposition when we're turning back. Guys?
All right, thank you, Maggie. 7-5 favorite. Apollo Code, gate to wire last start. Now we'll try and do it again without the benefit of a track to his advantage.
Right. Talk about it, last time was the time. 9.5 to 1. Gets a bias in his favor. Now he's on a fair track and he's 7-5. He may win. I certainly would never suggest he's not the horse to beat. But man, he is, last time was the time all over him. And for me, I have to bet against horses like that. This is, to me, is an automatic play at Smile and Say Cheese, for better or worse, probably for worse.
9 to 1, see what happens with the 2. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Foregone goes in. Brave Buck. For trainer Linda Rice. Jose Lascano. Apollo Code. Cam Duke. Cam Duke to the outside. And in. All set. And they're off. Skytown. Early speed right towards the front. It's Skytown, the early leader. Towards the outside, here comes Apollo Code and Cam Duke, and those two now press on, and they go after each other. Cam Duke will not give Apollo Code an easy lead, and a pace duel on the front end as they fly away. They are quickly up by 5. Back in behind them is going to be Liberty Rising at the rail, who's alone in third, dropping back quickly with Skytown. Brave Buck is on the move from 5th, 22.48 for the opening quarter mile, and they are sizzling up front. Just behind them in the 6th position, that's going to be Foregone, and the trailer, Smile and Say Cheese. Apollo Code trying to dispatch of Cam Duke. It's Apollo Code who's now up by 1.5 lengths. Here comes Liberty Rising towards the inside. Skytown's back for more in the lime green cap. Apollo Code softened by those fractions and towards the inside. Here comes Liberty Rising. Liberty Rising, and still Apollo Code is battling on. Apollo Code doesn't want to give in. Liberty Rising had the momentum. Liberty Rising now kicking away. Liberty Rising up by 1.5 lengths. Call it 2 inside the final 16th. Liberty Rising with a nice setup at 29 to 1. Apollo Code does hold second. Foregone, and Smile and Say Cheese in 1:11 and 4.
It's going to shake things up quite a bit this afternoon. 29 to 1. Trained by Pat Quick, Omar Hernandez Moreno aboard.
Congrats to Connection, so he's happy to see Pat Quick do well. I don't think Nostradamus could have had this horse. He got the right trip and the right ride in a race where only horse that showed up was the 6, and he actually ran a very good race, but as we suggested, he was possibly going to get threatened by the number 7 early. Well, that's exactly what happened, and it made it impossible for him to win. He probably ran the best race of anybody, but he couldn't hold up this horse who really ran the best race he ever ran. I feel like I had the right idea, hopefully, with the 2. He's just not any good anymore. I mean, he finished 4th, but he dropped 20 lengths behind early, like something was wrong with him. He closed a little at the end, but you can't come from that far back. But this one got the right trip and ride and stepped forward to win it. Congrats if you had this horse. Hope you had this one in the pick 5 because he's a big price.
See if that's enough for a pick 6 carryover.
It could well be.
Might be.
Could well be.
1-6-4-2. 29-1 upset here with Omar Hernandez Moreno. Talk more Eclipse Awards when we come back. One of the tightest races. We were waiting to see what would happen. Male sprinter, Book of Dano. We'll tell you who won, and Flavia Pratt goes back-to-back. Back on America's Day of the Races here on Fox Sports 2. Again, brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. This one a little tough to find. Nearly 30-1. Liberty Rising 1-6-4-2. I thought if she's going to have any kind of impact, she's going to be a lot closer than she was. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, somebody's made a very good point to me about this race. This horse finished behind Cam Duke last time out. Very hard to see this horse winning. Now, I understand it was a different scenario today, got a very good trip and ride in here, but this was a hard horse to make, to be honest. And I know the horse paid $60, so this is sort of stating the obvious, but there are long shots that win that you see the case. I didn't see the case for this horse, but if you did, congratulations. And listen, I'm not going to knock anybody that took the favorite. I was trying to beat Apollo Code, but he ran a winning race. He beat the rest of the field by a pole, and he did get into a pretty strenuous duel.
that probably will be enough for a pick 6 carryover. We'll wait and see.
You would think so.
It's going to reward you heavily, too, in the pick 5 if you happen to go deep in there.
I guess, the one thing I'd say is I think a lot of people playing the pick 6 might have singled the 10 in the last race today.
Yeah.
If anyone's alive, it'll be the 10 in the last, depending, obviously, what happens here.
$61.12, Liberty Rising. Again, Pat Quick trains. Thumps Racing Stable. And Omar Hernandez Moreno aboard for the win. Race 7.
Nice ride by him.
1-turn mile. In this condition, $17,000 claiming race, all for sale for that price. Where you just mentioned to me you like the 5 Toxic Girl.
I like Toxic Girl. I have a lot of respect for Jimmy Riccio, the owner of that horse, a very, very astute claiming owner. Doesn't have the horses he used to have. He's been winning here for a long year, and I thought this was kind of an odd claim by them, he and Linda Rice together. So this horse is dangerous. All the early money coming into Matoli's Girl for the powerful Brad Cox, Sandy Goldfarb claiming team.
All right, let's go back to last night and the Eclipse Awards. And we've been talking about it for months. We thought it was going to be a super tight race. They both had incredible years, Arad Ortiz Jr., Flavien Prat. But in terms of the voting, we both thought Prat was a slight favorite, deserving winner. But we just thought it would be a lot closer in terms of the voting. It wasn't.
Well, it wasn't close at all. And I think what happened is one of these things where I was saying to you earlier, if people could vote and say, I'll give 60% of my vote to Flavien and 40 to Irad, it would have been closer. But you can't do that. And clearly, basically 3 out of 4 people decided that Flavien was the rightful winner. Now, I would give him a slight edge, but like you say, shouldn't have been that big an edge. But
I love what both riders said about each other, too, afterwards. That just honoring how great each other is. And you get the sense they're each pushing each other to be better.
I agree. There's no... I mean, listen, if you're Irad, you want to win. He's a highly competitive guy, as he should be, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's his job to be competitive, and I'm sure he was disappointed. On the other hand, he understood that he was against a guy who had superior credentials, and I think if Flavien had finished second and Irad won, he would have felt the same way, and he would have said, I don't know that there was a loser in that battle. Both of those guys... I mean, Irad lost yesterday. He would have won the Eclipse Award with the year he had. Almost any other year we've been around, right? Yeah. As long as the award's
both riders, by the way, first
million.
2 ever, to eclipse $40 million in earnings.
The fact that they finished like $1,000 apart at the end of the year, I mean, is just incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
I mean, they talk about 2 baseball teams being a game apart at the end of the season.
Yeah,
it's not even close to how amazing that was.
Meanwhile, we knew this was going to be tight going in. Champion male sprinter. 2-race campaign for Ben Tornado that included the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and then the Pride of New Jersey, Bookham Dano, who had the more sustained, excellent campaign, but each just one Grade 1 win.
Yeah, and I would have voted for Bookham Dano, and you could say I'm a little bit biased, and I probably am, but I thought he had a more complete season in running those races, but I wouldn't have thought it was a bad choice to take Ben Tornado. He was tremendous in those 2 races. But Bookham Dano had a better year. He didn't win, but he ran an amazing race when he lost in the 7 furlong Churchill Downs handicap. And listen, you and I feel as though you and I have a relationship with this horse, right? Because I remember him winning that off the turf futurity and us talking on the show about how we really thought he could be one of the best sprinters of his crop. And I think the connections at that point didn't really think that highly of him. They thought he could, win in different spots. That race where he lost by a nose to Forever Young in the mile, the Saudi, the Derby, the Saudi Derby, amazing effort. He is such a cool horse.
And now, look, they passed on the Breeders' Cup because they wanted a robust 2026 campaign.
Well, also, I think if you look at his 2024 campaign, he tailed off badly at the end of the year, right? He had a long, strenuous campaign. That year he went to Saudi, he didn't last year. And maybe they were thinking a little bit, he tailed off so much at the end of 2024, they didn't want that to happen in 25. I'm glad he won. Nothing against Ben Tornado, who would have been a deserving winner as well, but I'm a fan.
Meanwhile, 3-year-old champion filly division. This seemed like an absolute lock going in. It was Nitrogen, who was sensational on the turf, and you don't see this move a lot. It was a gutsy move, switching her midseason to dirt and going on to win the Alabama, the most important probably dirt race for 3-year-old fillies in the country.
To me, she was as big a lock to win this award as Sovereignty. I don't even believe anyone should have gotten first place votes but her. I think it's preposterous. There were some that thought she's so spicy, and no disrespect that she's so spicy, but to not give this horse the award for the year she had, Did she have a perfect campaign? Did she have as good a campaign as Torpedo Anna? No, but that's not, you can't judge her against that. I mean, she danced every dance. She ran the entire year without a break, and she never didn't run a good race.
She was incredible.
Yep.
She was really one of the great stories with that surface switch mid-season. To do that at Saratoga, take that chance. I mean, that was a gutsy call by Connections.
And I think sometimes Mark Casse doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's not afraid. One thing with Mark Casse, he is not afraid to lose. He's not afraid to look bad. And in doing so, he's looked pretty damn good on a number of occasions, and he did with this filly as well. He had no fear. Mark runs his horses, and I respect that. And, you know, anybody that deals with Mark in this business understands that he's one of the easier guys to deal with. He's a pleasure to deal with, and I'm thrilled for the Connections, who also have given a lot to this game.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We are 8 minutes to post for the 7th at Tampa. 16 minutes away from race 7 here in New York. And there's the favorite. Wow, Andy's Toxic Girl taking play. We'll be back.
Oh, that's bad.
Look at these two juveniles going at it, and it is Forte.
It is Forte in front. Forte on to victory here in the Grade 1 hopeful.
The two of them coming down to the wire. Forte on the outside, and Forte to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Forte starts to gather in the top horses. This is going to be very close, but the champion prevails. Forte wins.
Oaklawn Hot Springs is here for when you need to break away, when you want to reward yourself, when you deserve to indulge, when you want to be close to the action. It's all here. So what are you waiting for? Live racing returns with the classic racing season. So plan your stay at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Nestled behind the gates of Hillendale Farm at Alapa, you can find a cabin-like 5,000 square foot home called the Treehouse. It's a new one-of-a-kind getaway destination located in the heart of horse country. The home offers hewn beams, flooring made from lumber harvested from Maker's Mark's original rickhouse. A room with vintage horse saddles, the collection includes one that belonged to the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. You can enjoy a drink or a meal on the back screened porch or one of 4 decks that overlook the tranquil Stoner Creek. Upon request, reservations can be purchased to experience an inside look of a working thoroughbred farm with a tour of Hillendale. The Treehouse now offers a unique place to stay on the grounds that house the famed Kentucky Stallion Station and Thoroughbred Nursery of Hillendale at Alapa.
Our program brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. Proud to have them as a sponsor as we get set for race 7 in New York, 12 minutes to post. Let's go to Tampa, though. On the turf at a mile, we're going to see a huge favorite in a moment, the 2. But let's start with Campaneris. First time on grass.
Tries the turf for the first time, and it is not a pedigree that suggests any real. I mean, the dam was European, but not very good.
So 6-5 favorite, Julio Cesar beat for maiden 16, that beat it odds on for maiden 16.
I mean, in this field, this horse probably should be 3 or 4 to 5. She just may lay over him.
Cape Storm, 6-1. Actually had a good debut, Horseshoe Indy Grass.
Yeah, the first race was okay, but the last race, not a good one. But maybe she'll run better, dropping a little bit.
Tuscan Thunder's only try on turf was against Better.
I know. I tried to make a case. I can't. It's not really a pedigree for turf either, to be honest.
Magnus Gold was in that Julio Cesar race, wound up 4th.
Yeah, gets Lasix, but so many of them get Lasix here as newly turned 3-year-olds.
Blue Wave, second dam, ran an 83 buyer on the turf.
She did for the great Christophe Clement.
Royal opportunity. Yeah.
Dam was 1 for 15. Keen Ice, a terrible influence as a turf sire, though.
Wise words, blinkers on, and Lasix.
I mean, the last race was finished 5 3/4 length behind the favorite, so you judge.
Fast Prince, first time on grass. And the second dam, actually, you probably remember, won at a mile on the turf, Cubby.
Well, the dam won on the turf. She was
David
2
Dawn.
for 16. Oh, okay. And Kerwin's Honor with a limited star has been a turf, so this horse actually has a little pedigree.
World Wide Web, first time on grass.
This horse does not have a turf pedigree.
Dam, though, the only turf start, stakes place with an 82 buyer.
Yeah, but she's a better dirt horse. That's the problem. She's a much better dirt horse.
And this one, a player, they forgot the 14's in here?
Yeah, the 14's not totally impossible, I suppose, but I think the interesting horse, if you want to bet against the 2, is the 9, to be honest with you.
All right, we'll get back to that race shortly. Paddock, Aqueduct. Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll take a look here at Rachel's Rock in the paddock. She is the mystery. She lacks recency. She lacks some recent, going back to when she ran, some good races. She definitely has fallen off the proverbial cliff, if you will, when it comes to her form. A horse who could handle herself against some upper level allowance race types of racehorses and run those mid-80 buyers. Now her last 2 efforts, not great. And then a long layoff. First off the claim here for Jorge Abreu. Last time I thought she had to be checked when the leaders kind of slowed down the pace. She didn't get any continuity to her run, but obviously an issue maybe arose out of that effort. Now, she's always been a mare that carries good weight and conditioning, and at times I've even thought she looks too heavy. That's not the case today. For her, relatively speaking, she actually looks fit. She looks strong. She's just incredibly quiet here. I'll watch and how she warms up, but sometimes when you're dealing with these mares that have some time away and then they just decide they don't really want to do it anymore. So we'll see if Rachel's Rock does. Moving on to the first off the claim, Brad Cox horse. That's Matoli's Girl, who is the complete opposite of Rachel's Rock. She has one that doesn't necessarily carry her weight well, and while I would expect Brad Cox to kind of put it on her, it's not happened. She's actually lighter than what I'd seen from her, probably, hence keeping her here at this 17.5 beaten claiming condition. Doesn't come out of the worst race where we've seen best impression. She won 2 starts after that, and Brooklyn Dance came back to 1 win out of there. But, Matoli's Girl was dropping that day, and she really did no running, and she is not making the most favorable impression here on me in the paddock, as she is your tepid favorite now, Greg.
Indeed, and we'll get back to New York for this post parade in a moment. They're loading, or about to, at Tampa.
I want to say something about the one Matoli's Girl, because, Sandy Goldfarb's a sharp guy claiming. This was a strange claim for him. He's taking a horse that's second off a layoff that did not run well in the return, but the other problem is she doesn't have her non-winner as a 1 New York bred. She's a non-winner as a 2, and she's not winning a non-winner as a 2 New York bred race, on the dirt at least. So they claim her 17.5. They run back for 17.5. This seemed to be a bit of an unusual claim. Maybe he's just looking for action, wanted to take a shot, and they've done so well. And listen, she could certainly win. She's the favorite in this race, and I think she's a major contender. But I was a little surprised by this claim of this horse. That's all.
See how that one runs when we return. As for this race, we talked about this long before we came on air. You felt this too, as is the case. It's going to be a huge favorite, but concerned at all, beat twice at this level, including at 2-5 last start?
Well, concerned. I wouldn't run and make a big bet on this horse, but
we talked about the last race. That was a 3-5 that deserved to be a 3-5.
I think this horse deserves to be 3-5. To be honest with you, I really do.
Okay.
I think this horse absolutely lays over this field on paper. I mean, one of the second choices just lost by almost 6 lengths to it. So I'm not.
But this is a type of race where you have horses that could certainly step up and take big moves forward.
No question about it. I mean, well, I don't know.
We kind of knew what that field was in the last race.
Do you really think somebody in here is going to take a big step forward? I don't know.
We have
maybe.
some horses trying turf for the first time. We have, I think there's some interesting. Look, she deserves to be the favorite.
I agree with you. If somebody said to me you have to book one to book the other, to bet the other one, I would have bet the other one, and I know that horse already won. But yes, you're right. That horse had established good form. This is a lower level maiden, so I think your point is valid. But I don't think this horse is the wrong price at 3 to 5. See, I think the last horse could have paid 1 to 5. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just don't. I made a small 2-9 and bet a couple dollars to win in the 9 just because the horse has some pedigree and I have no respect for the others. So that's my idea here. Try to somehow get the 9 to run.
See how it plays out. A mile on the turf. Chance number 3 at the level for Julio Cesar. Jason Beam the call.
You love saying that.
Way out post number 10, Saddle Towel 14. Mystic Isle going in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Julio Cesare, the favorite, got away well toward that inside draw. Cape Storm's flashing some early foot. And moving up from the extreme outside is World Wide Web, who's handy, along with Wise Words. Those 4 across the course here in the early going. Right in between them is Fast Prince. Top 5 only separated 2.5 as Julio Cesare cuts the corner just in front of Cape Storm on the outside. Wise Words, Fast Prince covering a little bit of ground on the outside as Tuscan Thunder tucks through down along the fence. Traffic there for Magnus Gold. Really had to tap on the brakes. Didubardo KCK. World Wide Web's alongside of that one. It's 2.5 more back to Mystic Isle. Another 6 back to Campaneris, who's the early treader. Julio Cesare gets some pressure from Cape Storm on the front end. 24.66 seconds. It is a modest tempo, though, as they go up the back stretch. They're a length and a half in front of Wise Words, who finds a nice spot. Third, gets the Lone Wolf trip here. It's 2 more lengths then back to Magnus Gold, who's back on track after that trouble. To that one's outside the Blue Wave and the Orange Silks. Tuscan Thunder's back a couple of spots, joined by Fast Prince and World Wide Web. Then comes Mystic Isle, and it's another 15 back to Campaneris. 49.45 seconds for Julio Cesare, who's given a few pumps there on the front end. On the outside, Cape Storm. Those 2 going by the 3/8 pole. Wise Words continues to travel nicely in third. Going to switch toward the outside to come after the top 2. After that, Magnus Gold is 4th. Then it's some separation. 3.5 more lengths back to the Blue Wave and World Wide Web. Mystic Isles trying to run on as they come around to the top of the stretch. Here's Wise Words trying to parlay that good trip into a victory now in front. Wise Words off the turn. Julio Cesare battles on to the inside. Magnus Gold down the far outside, and back between him is Cape Storm. A final furlong left to go. Wise Words, Julio Cesare still battling toward the inside. Magnus Gold is third. It's Wise Words with 50 yards left to go. Julio Cesare and Magnus Gold. Wise Words to win it. Second ended up very close there between Magnus Gold and Julio Cesare. Mystic Isle got going nice lately for 4th.
Wise Words was 5 3/4 lengths behind the favorite when they met December 19th. Got a great trip today.
Got a great trip today and didn't have the best of trips last time. I could not have bet this horse to turn the tables. I'm surprised the 2 lost. The 3 obviously did some damage on the front end to this horse, and the 3 ran very poorly. But disappointing effort for the heavy favorite. But I didn't like the winner.
Back to New York. Here's our post parade. Matoli's Girl, favorite on the board. Manny Franco.
Well, we see how well these Sandy Goldfarb Brad Cox horses claims do in this field. I get why she's favored, but I don't trust her.
She's complicated with Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard.
Well, you got a lot more heart than me if you're taking 7 to 1 on this horse. Her recent form is atrocious. She's a bit of a nutty horse, too.
Funny. Wayne Potts, Jamie Rodriguez.
Now, if you like this horse, you're strictly betting Wayne Potts being very live lately.
Jose Lozcano for Linda Rice off the claim. Toxic Girl.
I like this horse. I respect Jimmy Rickey off the claim. I think it's a very interesting claim for Linda.
Huge drop in class for the 6.
It is, and we'll talk more after the post parade. This horse was claimed by these connections, but for Wayne Potts now with Jorge Abreu.
Gregorian Solo went by. Here's the 8 Serenading Kitten.
Yes, either one of these horses would guarantee a maybe pick 6 Guerrero. There might even be some 5s not covered.
Poetic Amy, hard to make. Biggest price on the board. Then top of the table, Linda Rice, Seihin Sabaki.
She could absolutely win this race. She should have won last time, but she can win here.
Do you know who's top of the table right now?
No.
You follow Premier League?
No. Is that a Premier League thing?
Arsenal, yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
2 minutes to post.
God, you're like a real renaissance man.
Well,
You're everywhere.
our team.
Our team?
Our family's team. Wolverhampton.
Oh, your wife is English.
Facing
That's a good
relegation.
point.
Dead last.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yep.
How's Laura taking it? Is she okay?
Not well. Not well.
Okay. I won't bring it up. I don't want to.
Thank you.
Start any trouble.
So here's what Andy likes. 7-2, Toxic Girl. We're going to talk Rachel's Rock, though, this big class dropper. Off since May of last year. Toxic Girl, sorry, first.
This is her win 2 back. She's a fringe contender off of this race. What caught my eye is Jimmy Riccio, the owner, claiming this horse. Jimmy is one time was as sharp claiming owner as there was in the game. And he remains a very sharp. He doesn't claim that many horses, but seeing him claim made me feel like he saw something that I probably didn't. So I'm going to sort of ride with that in this field off the claim of Linda. Simple as that. And I just don't really like anybody else.
Obviously a concern, the just non-performance.
He was bad last time. There's no doubt about it. This horse did not run well last time. Not going to disagree.
But back with Linda Rice, positive sign.
Hopefully.
And as you mentioned, Jimmy Riccio. Let's go to Rachel's Rock now. Here's the 6. So again, off since May of last year and just facing a different level of horse.
This race is from October of 2024 when she ran an 83 buyer and she won impressively off the claim. She came back, she ran against Nick Style, right? Tizzy in the Sky, serious racehorses. She has a second with an 83 figure. And then her form starts dropping off, right? And they drop her in for 40,000. Now keep in mind she was claimed for 40. So they were moving on from a horse that they had made money with and she lost her form. She gets claimed out of that race by Wayne Potts and her current owner. And now she shows up almost 9 months later for $17,500 in a different barn with Jorge Abreu. It's just so negative. Obviously, she has races that would just smoke this field. But I find it extremely unlikely that this horse is going to run those races.
Maggie, what are you seeing physically here for the return for this 7-year-old mare?
Well, I did already cover that in the paddock, Greg. I kind of, question whether she wants to do it anymore. You kind of wonder because she's just been very quiet. And two, I question coming back at a mile with a bit of a spotty work tab. I just feel as though some of her better races did come going shorter. But I do want to talk about Toxic Girl, who physically I think looks great here for Linda Rice. But, Jose Jimenez, who she claimed her off of, you don't see many horses being claimed from, so I wanted to look up what the stats are first, being claimed from. 2 for 19, so not great. Obviously not the biggest sample size either. So we'll see what Linda is able to do here with Toxic Girl. Like I said, do like her physically, but I thought that was a bit of an interesting stat. Greg?
For what it's worth, 4 of those were turf races, 2 for 50 in the dirt. I think it's a inconsequential stat. I'd have to look up more who the horses were, what prices they were. With Linda, were trainers like Linda Rice the ones that claimed them? I'd want to look at that. But obviously claiming from Jimenez has not proven to be particularly fruitful. But there's just a small sample size.
5-2 on this one. Matoli's Girl, Brad Cox off the claim. Manny Franco.
Can't argue with the success this team has had. So no surprise that she's the favorite. I don't have any argument with that at all. I don't love her, but I can understand why she's bet. I picked her second.
Second choice, not far behind, is Rachel's Rock off that long time away.
Yeah, she's obviously the most interesting horse in this race because of how well she's run in the past. But man, is she hard to like as the one who's a little obstreperous going the gate.
Couple of taps for Manny Franco. She obliges and gets in. Let's send it upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call. Race 7.
She's complicated. That's funny. Poetic Amy. Toxic Girl. Top of the table is in. All set. And they're off. Right to the front, it's going to be Serenading Kitten with the early lead and Toxic Girl in the early mix too. Here comes at the rail. She's complicated to make it 3 of them on the front end. Serenading Kitten now with the neck in front. Slackens off the tempo though, and she's complicated. Will press on as they come out of the chute. Hook up with the backstretch, and right there's Toxic Girl as a close-up third. At the rail moving forward, Matoli's Girl. Rachel's Rock is right in behind Rivals, is running up on heels there. Just had to check. Is in the 5th position, trying to settle and having none of it. Rachel's Rock is looking to burst on through and move up on these leaders. 23 and 4 was that opening quarter mile. And here comes Rachel's Rock still on the muscle now 3 wide. Just behind them now in 6 is going to be That's Funny on the far outside top of the table. Towards the back end of the field, Gregorian Solo and Poetic Amy. They work into the far turn together now, and she's complicated. Toxic Girl, Rachel's Rock is just being asked to cut loose now 3 wide. At the rail is Matoli's Girl. Nowhere to run yet. Saving ground the entire time. Out wider top of the tables on the move. Same can be said for That's Funny. They are very tightly bunched. 48 seconds flat for the half-mile time. Matoli's Girl finds a seam at the rail. Is trying to move on through and will. Matoli's Girl is now put a nose in front. In between horses, she's complicated. Rachel's Rock down the center of the racetrack. Top of the tables trying to make up ground 2. Saving all the ground was Matoli's Girl. Has the advantage. Rachel's Rock is trying to catch that leader. Top of the tables taken 3rd. Far outside is going to be That's Funny. Matoli's Girl is trying to be very game here for a final 16th. Top of the table, catching with every stride. Top of the table to the outside. Matoli's Girl digs in. These two down to the line together. Give it to top of the table. Matoli's Girl was 2nd, then came That's Funny, and a photo for 4th in 1 minute 41.18 seconds.
Thriller at the finish. And in the end, top of the table.
Yeah, it turned out that the pace was a little bit too much for some of these horses, but it's hard to make an excuse for Matoli's Girl. Man, he gave her such a sweet trip in there, and a horse that blew a huge lead last time against Lesser was able to get it done today with a slightly different trip, just grinding out the wind here as pace kind of fell apart a little bit late. I was very surprised to see my 5 Toxic Girl as close to the pace as she was. She's not a horse that's shown speed in the past, but she didn't finish anywhere close.
7-2 on your winner, Sahin Savachi, Linda Rice, Red Storm Stable. And 5-year-old mare wins for the 3rd time in 17 career starts. 10-1, 4-6 finish in the 7th, while the prices get to the nightcap when we come back. Look ahead to tomorrow's program at Gulfstream and the Pegasus World Cup Invitational. Is it coming out time for disco time off that incredible win in the Dwyer back as a 3-year-old? Stay with us.
John Gaines started this back in the 70s, had such stallions as Riverman, Sharpen Up, Bold Bitter, Leafard, Blushing Groom. I think our slogan says it best: power, passion, performance. We're looking to be a power in not only the breeding sector, but in the whole thoroughbred industry. You know, I think passion describes our team to the best. Mr. Beck and his family have owned this farm for almost 40 years. Brian Graves has been a part of this team for almost 20 years, myself here for 3 years, as we look to continue to grow. And I think performance describes our stallion roster perfectly, both at the racetrack and in the sales ring. And obviously, Tappet was a huge feather in the cap of the farm. He's done well for the last 20 years at stud. We have McKenzie with 5 Grade 1 stakes horses in his first crop. We have Drain the Clock and Olympiad with stellar sales results with our first crop yearlings. We were very excited this year. We brought 4 new stallions in. We had Grade 1 winner Tappet Trice, son of Tappet, another son of Tappet, Mandy Pope, homebred Charge It, Muth, son of Good Magic, only stallion retired this year in Kentucky that was a Grade 1 winner at 2 and 3, and followed it up with Preakness winner and Pennsylvania Derby winner Seize the Gray. We were very excited to have a son of Arrogate. We were a big believer in that stallion. We bred to him several times. We're bringing Grade 1 winner Locked, son of Gunrunner, into the stallion roster for 2026. Grade 1 winner at 2 at Keeneland. Grade 2 winner at 3, defeating older horses in the Cigar Mile. Grade 1 winner this year at 4. You know, Brian Graves, Anthony Beck, myself, and the rest of the team here, we look for these horses that are going to hopefully be breed shapers and trying to continue to grow the stallion roster here at Gainesway.
Program brought to you in part by Gainesway. Power, passion, performance. So we have the nightcap coming up here in New York. And races 8 and 9 still to come out at Tampa. Top of the table, Sahin Savachi, Linda Rice. Second off the claim victory for the Rice Barn. Better than 27% of this meet, Linda Rice.
Well, Linda's very well set up for a winter where, you know, it's not a lie to say that we've had a lot of races that weren't as competitive as they can be at some times of the year, and Linda's very shrewd, and she's done a lot of claiming out of town and set up. She's only had 2 winners today, nothing like her 5-win day yesterday.
Who's on drums, by the way? I like this beat.
The 3 is covered in the pick 6. The 10's not covered.
The 10 is not covered.
But somehow the 3 is covered.
What?
So somebody's magic numbers. I guess somebody's magic numbers are, I don't know which, some combination of 4, 2, 1, 10. How is that? Feels like a quick pick or something, because that horse can't win.
I wouldn't say the horse couldn't win.
It's pretty close.
1 Turn Mile, $12,000 maiden claiming event. And no question, the 10, as witnessed on the board here, is going to be a massive favorite.
Yeah, very strange, but that's got to be like some random ticket that somebody's alive with. The 10 is just one of those horses it's hard to trust. It's claimed back in September by Linda Rice from Dale Romans. They've been running figures that are just better than these horses. Linda also, I think, claimed Cool Andy, who won that race, who came back and ran well, yet she's dropping this horse off a cliff in a maiden claiming race. Not a good sign, but it might be the right field. I like the number 8, however.
Right. For what it's worth, thoroughgraph-wise.
Yeah.
Beck's Dreamer, the even money favorite, has paired up 15s the last 2 starts.
Okay.
The 3 has paired up 16s the last 2 starts.
Well, the 3's not winning regardless of what you think, but okay.
I don't like that horse. I'm just saying they're not that far apart.
Okay. No, I respect that.
In terms of how fast they've run, not according to me.
The pick 5 with the 3, by the way, is $127,573 for 50 cents. So you live for $18,006 in the pick 6. You could be live for the entire pool. Well, you actually get half of that, because I'm guessing that's the entire pool, that 127.
All right. See what happens here. Get to the post parade shortly. Pegasus World Cup tomorrow. And the main event, Disco Time. In his Grade 1 debut, putting that perfect record on the line. And really, it's been the last 2 starts. He has just been a different horse, thrusting himself into the limelight. Take home your share of $10,000 on Pegasus World Cup Day. Place a $10 win wager on the 3 Pegasus races. Split $10,000. Got to opt in at Naira Bets.
If you win all 3 bets.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Disco Time might just be one of the better horses in the country, but He's also under the gun from down the rail in a race where there is plenty of speed signed on, so he's going to have to run well to win here.
But certainly, especially with this racetrack configuration, you want to be inside with your speed, the way that first turn comes up awfully quick.
Yeah, no, I want to get an inside post, but he's under the gun. I mean, you've got legitimate speeds here. Full Serrano.
Helped a little
not
bit
exactly slow.
with Madaket Road coming out.
Yeah, but, he's also got Captain Cook, who's forward. He's got Mika, who's forward. And he's got Full Serrano's forward. It's hard to see it's not a strong pace.
So, Disco Time, who we're talking about, yet to be beat, and this will be his Grade 1 debut. But again, it was that St. Louis Derby, he became a different horse. Just huge leap forward, totally different animal.
Crazy
and then leap forward again in the Dwyer.
His last race was terrific. I'm not going to knock it. He's the horse to beat. He might just be really, really good. He might be one of the best horses in the country, and I hope he runs a big race.
First time at a mile and an eighth.
Yeah, and he's got to get the mile and an eighth. He gets some pretty good horses. I think that his stablemate, Tapan Street, is going to run a lot better in here. And if I had to bet this race, which I may well not, I would bet him.
Beat Sovereignty, Tapan Street, this one stablemate in that Florida Derby. But Disco Time, perfect record. And Pratt will take over for Florent Giroux for the first time.
Now, is Florent riding in Japan or something? Or I don't know the story. Is he riding the rest of the card? To be honest, I have not. Oh, he is? No, he's listed to ride ready for Sherrill in the 10th, so I don't know the story beyond there. I have no idea.
Meanwhile, interesting horse, 7 now, White Barrio, who we last saw in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. He ran huge in the Whitney to run 4th.
He ran well in the Whitney.
Obviously a former Classic winner.
He was horrendous in the Jockey Club. He was a vet scratch out of the Breeders' Cup. He hasn't run since then. Listen, I didn't like him last year, but I don't know how anybody could bet this horse as the second choice in this race. But I was wrong about him last year. Maybe I'll be wrong here, but I certainly couldn't play him.
$7.1+ million in earnings. Does he still have it now as a 7-year-old? And one of the more interesting horses probably on the entire program, that breakout performance, even though he got beat in the Cigar Mile, Mika, and now he's going to try and stretch out and go a little bit further.
Yeah, I bet Mika last time, and he's just a horse that was completely mishandled his entire career. He actually got bet in his debut in the dirt and didn't do any good at 4.5 furlongs, and for some reason they decided, despite him not running well, he was a turf horse. He's lucky that race got rained off in May at Delaware. That's actually a very interesting race for an odd reason, and he's clearly flourished. Now, his connections are confident he wants to go longer. I'm not. Trainers' connections often think horses want to go longer. I thought his Cigar Mile was good. He was with the track, but he ran very well. I'm curious to see what he does. He could be a player. Do you know in that race at Delaware off the turf, that was the last race that a horse ran in that was under Christophe Clement's name.
Yeah,
they were allowed to run out of town, even though Christophe had passed away, and the connections left in that horse, whose name escapes me right now, to run as a tribute to Christophe.
Yeah. And one of the stakes races, by the way, on this program, renamed after Christophe Clement. Going to be a lot of attention on what happens down at Gulfstream Park with that big one tomorrow, and that a lot of big name horses running in those Pegasus races. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We'll get you back to Tampa when we return. 6 minutes to post in the 8th when we come back.
$650,000, not anybody else will. $650,000, not a bid today. $1,650,000, not a half. $1,600,000. Thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
First again and again and again.
Mission to win it.
First Mission, 4 graded stakes. He made finishing first his mission, and all with big buyers. Now he's a Darley stallion, and breeders are falling in love with him. Here's fabled horseman John Williams.
First Mission is an eyeful. He's beautifully balanced, and I love the way he uses himself as he moves.
Come to see First Mission and tell us your first impression. Consider it your mission.
A provision in a bill passed this summer reduces the tax deduction for wagering losses from 100% to 90%. This unfair change would tax horse players on a percentage of their losses, could cost over $1 billion in handle, and threaten thousands of jobs in the racing industry. That's why the NTRA is fighting to pass the Wager Act, a new bill that would restore the deduction to 100%. Tell Congress to pass the Wager Act. Visit ntra.com/wager.
Back with you on our Friday coverage. There's Gasper. Horse racing's favorite. Is he an alligator, I assume?
I tell you one thing, he's not concerned about this winter storm coming in.
No, he's not.
I don't think that's really live, though. I mean, I think that's stock footage, right? I'm starting to think that we get the same footage every time.
He's the real deal.
He's a real, do you think, alligator? I don't think they have. What's the difference between alligators and crocodiles?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I don't either. Look that up.
Betsilicious at 15-1 from the rail coming off a win.
Sorry. Let me get my act together here. I got too much going on. Betsilicious looks a little tough to make. Beat Lesser last time.
This 3 I thought very interesting.
I think he's the other horse. I don't know why he's 15-1. If I was going to try to beat the favorite, it'll be with him.
Huge debut. Then long time away and struggled at Churchill.
In a strong duel. That Al Stallworth's one's a pretty good horse.
Tennessee Honeybee, Samuel Marin.
Coming off a good race last time out. This is tougher, though.
Kapoor, huge maiden score at Churchill. That was back in May. We have not seen her since.
I want to know who T. Kingsley is, the rider. That was my biggest concern. This horse is obviously better than this field if he runs his race.
Just like you, some very good races at Monmouth, Delaware, Laurel. Last start was not good.
I agree with all that.
Glorious Lady, 12-1 here.
Just hard to make off.
Kathleen
off
O'Connell.
Races, yeah. Best race was last time, but it wasn't very good.
Here's Rita Book at 32-1. Speed.
Well, coming off a very good year, but still just a little slower than these, but is part of what could be a quick pace.
Pretty and Awesome, more pace.
Well, we've seen one Canterbury horse. Can this horse find the race from 3 back? That would certainly give him her real chance.
And another very interesting runner off a long time away. Mona L came back and won going back to dirt. That was the dirt debut.
Wish I had her last time. First time in the dirt. Not much of a dirt pedigree, actually. It's funny.
6-1. Only dirt start was a victory. Off a layoff. Back to New York, 8 minutes away from the 8th. Let's go to Maggie.
As we'll take a look here at some long shots in the paddock as number 10, rightfully so. That is Beck's Dreamer, your favorite here. I'm going to reserve judgment for him out on the racetrack, but all things look good for him. As we'll take a look here at one stretching out in distance that could be forward for Bruce Brown is number 5. That's How About It. Look, I wish he looked a bit stronger across his top line. He's kind of dropped away in that respect, but you look at his physical frame, and to me, it just says that he wants more ground. This will be the first time he tries it on the main track. He's only gone long on the turf in his prior efforts, both of which in maiden special weight company for Florida breds. So I know maybe his recent form isn't as good, and we'll see what he does. But the blinkers do come off. I still think, though, he will be somewhat forward here. As another one that takes the blinkers off is number 4, St. Solomon, as he will get Lasix for this third try. And last time out, he just seemed clueless, even though it was his second start, just not tuned in, walking around, just kind of meek, and just looked like a gormless individual. Today, there's a lot of more brightness to him, a lot more of a eager disposition, kind of the light bulb's gone on with him. He's come out, of the saddling stall, he's on the muscle. And sometimes that's what you get when you take those blinkers off, because they can see they're a little bit more livened up by the proceedings, and he looks stronger now in this third start. Look, you're always going to be attracted to a horse that doesn't have as many starts, as many of these are double-digit offers. So yes, there is a bit of appeal for me when it comes to St. Solomon, despite that awful effort last time out. Greg?
Get to the post parade in a few minutes here, approaching 5 minutes away from this finale in New York. 6-5 favorite outside for Linda Rice. Back to Tampa, though. And 4-5 Kapoor on a long time away for this 4-year-old filly for Bill Mott.
Yeah, Bill Mott's hunting for a non-winners of one. I guess didn't want to take on some much tougher competition at Gulfstream shipping over. I'm not familiar with this rider, who in 2025 was 4 for 15. Like a Dolphin horse, a homebred. Dam was pretty good. Karina, as I recall. She's run well in all of her races, and she's very much the horse to beat. The biggest concern is the pace. She is pretty quick, and there's potential speed outside of her. Read a book and potential speed inside of her with the 3 Tentacion. I think it's Tentacion. What do you think?
Or Tentacion.
Tentacion.
Yeah, the 3 and 11 are very interesting. You look at, though, the 6, and I think the thing that kind of stands out, obviously the maiden win was very effective. But look who she faced in that debut, who was second, Shred the Gnar, who we thought...
Oh, I love Shred the Gnar.
Yeah, was one of the better...
I don't think she's run this year yet, right? She came back in the Chaluki. She's supposed to run the Acorn. The 3 is a ridiculous overlay at 20-1.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I know the horse's reverse race was cheap, but I don't think this horse should be this price.
Probably go 6 with 3-11.
I bet a little 6-3 and a little to win the 3. Not much money, but it's a couple hours full around.
The 7's a little interesting at 11-1 underneath. See what happens here if this one can win off the long layoff. Kapoor for Bill Mott. Let's go to Jason Beam.
Martina Rojas to the outside draw. Ready to start the late double here on this beautiful Friday afternoon. As the favorite Kapoor is backed away. They've opened the front of the stall for the favorite. Kapoor currently 4-5, 5-2 on the number 4 Tennessee Honeybee. Those two are clearly your top 2 in the wagering. As Kapoor is still acting up behind the starting gate. Once again, right up to the gate is Kapoor, but not going in. Like they're going to spin her around and try one more time. Kapoor once again just not having it here at the starting gate, continues to act up. Now Kapoor coming up. About halfway in, but backed away again. Kapoor appears to have gone in. So we're just waiting on Mona L. We'll be all set for a start. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Tennessee Honeybee was out in good order. Read a book. Mona L to the outside. Kapoor moving up between horses. And the favorite coming up alongside the second choice. Kapoor is going to go to the front. Tennessee Honeybee back second. Mona L third. So the top 3 choices are 1, 2, 3 early on. It's a length and after Glorious Lady. Read a book. They're 4th and 5th. Betsy Licious up the inside is 6th. Then comes Temptation in the red colors back 7th. Pretty and Awesome is second last. And Just Like You is the trailer. The even money favorite, Kapoor, is the leader. 22.01 seconds. Drilled that opening quarter mile. Leads in a length and a half to Mona L. Tennessee Honeybee, they're pushed along second and third. 2.5 more back to Rita Book, who's a clear 4th. Then a gap of 3 more back to Betsy Licious. Glorious Lady is after that. As they wind around to the quarter pole, Kapoor is still there. The lead's out to 3 now. Tennessee Honeybee under a drive in second with Mona L. Rita Book still trying to pick up some runners from 4th as Kapoor leads them into the stretch. It's Kapoor and Taylor Kingsley to the 8th pole. The lead's 2.5. Tennessee Honeybee trying to get to this favored leader. It's not gaining much ground just yet. Run from the back, just like Hughes, putting in a nice bid, but it's still 7 or 8 lengths behind Kapoor. Kapoor didn't want to load in the gate, but definitely wanted to run today. Kapoor won it by 4.5, 5 in the end. Tennessee Honeybee was second and came just like you, Glorious Lady and Temptation.
Effective comeback off the long time away. Kapoor, first time against winners, successful.
Belmont's probably his first win since the Eclipse Award. How about that? At Tampa. Think he made the trip over?
May have.
I'm guessing not, but you never know. I would hope he's did a little celebrating last night, as he should have. Easy win.
All right, so Kapoor impressive off the bench as we get back to New York for the nightcap and our post parade. In this $12,000 maiden claiming 1-turn mile, we start with the hero code.
He's had a lot of chances and just not in very good form.
Blinkers on Jamaica Red.
The recent form since in
Pass.
the new barn is not good.
Daytona Moonshine at 15-1. We did not
horse
see.
Covered in a pick 6, which is a little bizarre.
We skipped to the 4, by the way, St. Solomon.
St. Solomon is not covered in the pick 5 at 127,000 carryover. He wins it. He's actually not impossible. Maggie had some
The
good things
5
to say.
was interesting. How about it?
I picked 4th.
Here's down the line. Pat Quick with a winner on the card already.
Pat looking for his second win today. We'll see.
The 29-1 upset winner with that rider aboard, by the way. Powered by Cole, 2 starts back, was 3rd on dirt.
Yeah, I think this is, to me, this is one of the ones that has a chance.
Enduring Angel cuts back.
I like Enduring Angel. We'll talk more after the post parade.
Here's Freedom Maker, Fernando Abreu.
This horse didn't win last time. I don't know when he's ever going to win. He had that race gift wrap, and he fell apart.
And 4-5, Beck Streamer.
I mean, there's a lot of negatives on this horse, but if he shows up and runs anywhere close to his races, he's a likely winner.
There's the 3, Daytona Moonshine at 17-1. So 0 for 15, did run 3rd for this, or for 16,000 level last start. So the slight drop down. Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, taking a look at your heavy favorite here in number 10, Beck's Dreamer. Look, he's an always dreaming, and for me, I have never been that impressed with his progeny. They all tend to be small, kind of one-sided individuals, and that's what Beck's Dreamer is. So I can't really hold it against him. It's his pedigree, but otherwise, he looks good. He's well turned out. Great coat on him, despite the layoff. He's really fit looking. Was pretty quiet in the paddock, but Jose Lascano is giving him a nice solo warm-up, and he looks great out in the racetrack. So I get why you can take a negative stance with this horse. Obviously, it's the intangible of Linda dropping him off a cliff here after claiming him 430 and not running that badly in that race, because Cool Andy, the winner that day, who wired the field, would come back and win with an 81 buyer. So he comes out of a decent field in which he finished 3rd in. So I understand, but from my vantage point, I don't see many things to fault him from physically. As I think the best alternative would be number 7, Powered by Cole, who does have a lot of chances racking up, but this is arguably one of the worst fields he's been in. He took a pretty sound bump last time out, and then he went forward, then he got shuffled back in the turn and just never really picked up. But at least his numbers on the dirt, at least his last 2, have been fairly consistent and fairly competitive in this field, and looks great otherwise. But Andy, I want to hear your reasoning with number 8, Enduring Angel, cutting back in distance.
What's going on that we need all this, honestly?
So 4-5 on as the expected heavy favorite in this spot, Beck's Dreamer.
The knock is that Linda Rice, I believe, also claimed Cool Andy, and she knows how well that horse did since the claim. And yet, after claim for 30,000, she comes back 4+ month layoff, routing in for 12.5. She is going to lose money if this horse wins the race. Those are negatives. But the positive is he runs, he's going to win. But those are intangible negatives. As far as the 8 who I picked in here is getting a significant rider upgrade. Tried to go 1.8 miles last time out. I thought had a bit of a trip first time out and ran a figure that's respectable enough. You've got a lightly raced horse in a field of horses that have had many chances, save the favorite. And I think this is the kind of horse that maybe has a bit of a forward move here, getting the rider change. So I like the 8 Adoring Angel. I'm not against the 10, but I do think there are some causes for pause. What Maggie said is absolutely true, and she likes what she sees. But this is a dicey proposition for Linda. She's shrewd, but this is a negative. Right? I mean, how do you look at the 10 and not get a bad feeling?
I just feel that those numbers are a little inflated, too. At least from the numbers I look at, those races were not near that quick. I thought the 5, a chance to get to the front, be on the lead, and keep on going with the blinkers off. I thought a dangerous horse on the front end.
The 5 should be the speed in this race. I'm not going to disagree with that. Whether or not I think he can win is another story. But, I'm listen, like I said, I like the 8. I think the 5's ridiculous. I picked him 4th.
Again, the 3. Someone with the 3 to hit this pick 6.
Maybe it's the owner. Who knows? It's a random play. Yep. It's random to be alive with a horse like that.
Chris Griffin, the call. Here's this nightcap from Aqueduct.
Daytona Moonshine. Rider off. Saddle adjustment right now in behind the starting gate here as we're waiting for the 3 Daytona Moonshine to complete the loading process. Still a few runners in behind too. How About It, and also Beck's Dreamer.
Lengthy delay here trying to get this saddle adjustment with the 3 Daytona Moonshine.
I don't know. If I was alive in the 3 and the pick 6, I would be hoping he scratches and I could scratch into the favorite for the whole pool.
Might be the better option here as the longer this goes. But yeah, for now, you're just trying to get this situated here with a saddle. This is taking quite some time. Horse, it was 19-1 on the board and is the only horse that results in the pick 6 getting hit. Let's keep in mind, too, was 3rd for 16 maiden claiming last start. I know you're not high on this horse.
Who? The 3?
Yeah.
No, I'm not high on him. Well, he's 100-1. If somebody likes him, bet him. It doesn't.
He's not 100-1.
Well, he's 20-1. To me, he's an underlay at 20-1. But I don't like him. But if you like long shots, you should bet them. It doesn't matter what I think of him. He's a huge price. But who knows? If the 10 doesn't win this race, something crazy could happen.
That one right there. See if that 5 can take them gate to wire. There's the 4-5 favorite. Last in line. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call.
Goes in. All set. And they're off. Speed from in between horses, down the line, right out to the front, and here towards the inside, that's Jamaica Red in the early mix too. Jamaica Red wants to move on through, is at the rail, now puts ahead in front, back to second will be down the line. 3 wide is going to be How About It. 4 wide is going to be Powered by Cole, who's trying to tuck in behind the leaders. There's the gray, the Hero Code. Tightly packed up front, and they really spread out here towards the back end of the field. Going to be in the 6th position. Out wider is Freedom Maker. Is now about 3.5 off the leaders. Moving up to its inside is Enduring Angel, gap of about 12 lengths back to Beck's Dreamer. Beck's Dreamer is towards the back end of the field with St. Solomon and Daytona Moonshine as the favorite is far, far back. 23.66 for the opening quarter mile. down the line, is in front. How about it to the outside as a close-up second at the rail. Here comes the Hero Code. Jamaica Red has dropped out of it quickly. Powered by Cole is now asked to move forward. Freedom Maker is going to be 5 wide here. Just in behind them, Enduring Angel from the back. Daytona Moonshine and Beck Streamer, they start to travel as a pair. They've got about 9 lengths to make up. 47.46 for a half-mile time. How about it with a neck in front? Battling onto the inside there, the Hero Code. Still there is down the line. Out wider, here comes Powered by Cole. Freedom Maker out in the far outside of the racetrack. Freedom Maker starts to push on by. Freedom Maker is now thrust to the front. Powered by Cole still battles on. Daytona Moonshine is running in spots and trying to commence a rally now. It is still Freedom Maker. Also, here comes Enduring Angel out of nowhere. Enduring Angel towards the far outside. Enduring Angel up in time. Enduring Angel wins it over Freedom Maker. Then came a photo. Daytona Moonshine with Powered by Cole in 1 minute 40 and 4.
Race changed a lot in the stretch here, and it winds up going to Enduring Angel. Keep your eyes on the favorite outside the 10, and that stumble out of the gate.
Yeah, obviously that changed the situation quite dramatically. Who knows if he would have run. Who knows what he would have done in there. And this race, I mean, that was a very fast pace for this level of horse, 23 and change. You know, they were moving up front, and My 8 just kind of won a battle of attrition. You know, it just, one of these races just completely collapsed. And here came the 3 for a second, a big thrill for the guy with the pick 6. I think that horse ran 3rd. Is that right, Greg?
I believe so.
Unfortunately, did not use the 9. I did use the 7 a little bit, but I hit the double, so. Yeah.
8, 9, 3, 7.
And the 10, I mean, I don't know if the 10 didn't finish anywhere. Did they just sort of ease him up when they realized he wasn't running?
Not to take another look.
That was a bad stumble. It didn't react.
Nice call, though. You like the 8? And 4-year-old debut?
I got the right
Dropping
field.
class gets the win.
Yeah, I mean, thanks. But, I mean, this was just one of these fields where I took a shot, and this field just, this race just imploded in the last 1/8 of a mile.
8, 9, 3, 7 prices when we come back. Rudy Rodriguez, Jose Gomez with a 4-year-old son of blame. We'll recap a Derby prep in the UAE. When we return, 20 points to the winner to get into that Kentucky Derby starting gate. Tell you who it was when we come back.
been here since 1910. Started here with my great-grandfather. They moved the operation from Virginia to present-day Claiborne in Paris, Kentucky. Long lineage between my grandfather, Bull Hancock, who was really influential in importing European stallions. And those stallions ended up kind of transcending the American bloodstock, and they're still evident and prevalent throughout the pedigrees today. My father, he had Mr. Prospector. He brought him up from Florida. He's had Danzig. Obviously, Secretariat was his first stallion that he ever syndicated, so he caught lightning in the bottle right off the bat, and I'm trying to do the same thing now. Certainly, we've come along and been really lucky and gotten some really good stallions along the way. Warfront's obviously in the sunset of his career. He's been unbelievable for us. We're looking for someone to fill his shoes, and we're excited about Mindframe. We think he can be that next big horse for us. Annapolis has had his first foals on the ground, and they're looking unbelievable. Certainly Prince of Monaco, he has his first that are in utero, and we're looking forward to those foals in the spring. We've had a lot of wonderful clients over the years that have really supported us and backed us, and that's been one of the main reasons why we've had the success we've had. We couldn't do it without them. It's hard to be in business for 115 years if you're not doing things the right way. Our motto is do the usual and usually well, and we've always felt like if you take care of the horse is going to take care of you, and we've certainly been lucky in that regard.
Just an incredible history in this sport. Claiborne Farm, as Walker said, 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Enduring Angel, and Andy Serling comes in with a safe landing with this long shot.
I was due.
You gave one to start off our show at Tampa.
Well, as a fringe player, but thank you.
And now, near the end of our show, you produced another.
Well,
you were dead wrong about the 3, though.
No, the 3 did run well here, actually. The guy got a little bit of a thrill at the end. And thank God he did, because if the race hadn't collapsed, my horse wouldn't have won either. And you look at it right here, you wouldn't have taken the 11-1 on my horse right here. But I think once he got on the outside, and let's be honest, they came on the last 1/8 of a mile in 14 seconds. I mean, they were stopping up front. This is the second time in a row. The 9 looked like he had a race won and just sort of fell apart in the very, very late stages. But this was an oddly fast-paced race for this level. I mean, to go 23-3, and 2 or something, they were moving up front, in this field. And this horse was just sort of the last man standing. And obviously something went wrong with the 10. I mean, you could have some reservations, but you wonder, was it the start may have just made it superfluous?
Yeah, disastrous start out of the gate. Pick 5, $10,631. Carry over in the pick 6 to sorry, we will not be running this weekend.
We are hoping to run on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We have drawn that card already. And just for people wondering, by the way, we're drawing Thursday's card today. We would normally draw Friday tomorrow and Saturday on Sunday. But because of the snowstorm expected, you can't expect people to come in and what's supposed to be a foot of snow on Sunday. We will be double drawing on Tuesday of the Friday and Saturday cards. Just to keep people.
No show Saturday, no show Sunday.
No.
We have live racing Wednesday, no show, but back with the show on Thursday.
Correct.
Okay.
No show on Thursday. Friday.
No show on Thursday. Okay.
The
Friday.
next show is next Friday.
Thank you.
And if Oaklawn can run, which looks a little dicey, then
weather,
they will be on with us.
There
but we are racing. We will be on Friday.
Yeah. Let's look to a Derby prep that happened in the UAE 2,000 guineas. 20 points to the winner of this race to get in the starting gate for the Derby. Automatic entry to the UAE Derby March 28th. 6-speed, a little bit surprisingly able to stretch out this speed and go gate to wire for the win under Michael Barcelona.
Yeah. I often get really interested in the Dubai Guineas or the UAE Guineas. That's been a very powerful race in past years for the Derby. 20 points for that. They're going to keep trying to get them there. As I guess actually, we almost did get a winner out of the UAE Derby, right? Forever Young.
We did. So let's.
I don't think there's any Forever Youngs in that field, though.
Should have won the race.
I don't disagree. I agree. I think he was the best horse in that Derby. I'm with you on that.
So next stop, likely that UAE Derby March 28th for 6-speed. Son of, again, just keeps producing. Not this time.
He's another not this time?
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
Look at the leaderboard. Ted Nafi did not sweep all the votes ridiculously.
If you voted for somebody other than Ted Noffe, just stop.
You don't deserve
just
a
stop
vote.
voting. I mean, come on.
Strategic risk. Looking to see him back. But we'll wait and see what happens because he was being pointed to the Southwest.
Obviously, if Ted Noffe is able to build on his figures from last year, and he's a horse that wants 10 furlongs, he's way the horse to beat in the Derby. I think those are all question marks for him, but he is the favorite, and justifiably so now, especially now that he's worked. Other horses all have to get faster or prove they can go farther.
A lot changes, 2 to 3, and horses can catch up.
Yep. And
Napoleon Solo, we don't have any word yet on him.
He worked. No, he's
did?
working, and I think, well, I read some comments from Chad
Champagne
Summers
winner.
that they're actually talking potentially the Gotham and Wood with him, but obviously have other options. He is down in Florida training at his first work right around the same time that Ted Noffe did. And listen, I thought his Champagne was a brilliant performance. It was. Not exactly the kind of performance you expect to be a Derby winner from, but he was, I mean, I think that was every bit as good as any race we saw from Ted Noffe, to be honest.
It was pretty incredible.
That was a brilliant race.
Speaking of Derby Trail, here in New York, the Withers, January 31st, 20 points to the winner of that race to get into the Kentucky Derby starting gate, where we'll talk about a couple who are pointing to the race. Starting with Chad Brown's Schoolyard Superman, practical joke 3-year-old who's coming off a maiden win early December.
Yeah, and if you'll remember this horse, he was probably going to win his debut, and there was an accident in the race that prevented him from winning. He did not run as well in his next start. Maybe he needed a little time to recover as they ran him back 5 weeks later. But then he came back the beginning of December and ran a big race in the 86 figure going a mile. Once again, he's a practical joke. Are we confident this Cigar Mile Day that he's a horse that wants a mile and a quarter? Chad Brown has a lot of now 3-year-olds that have run well enough with improvement they could be players in the Derby, but every one of them is going to have to show that improvement, including Paladin.
Well, and you never know pedigree-wise, but you would think with this pedigree, Schoolyard Superman's stablemate might love a mile and a quarter. Tino.
Well, Tino's a half to gun runner, and he's a quality road. Yes, I agree. And this is one that Chad told me he had liked before his debut. He ran a respectable race. He took a big step forward last time out. I think both the first and second place finished. I think Hadrian's Wall, who's now finished second in a couple of starts, I think he's pretty good too. But once again, 82 buyer. He's going to have to get faster. There are a lot of these horses are in the same boat. They have potential, but they're not fast enough to be competitive, but they're also very lightly raced. We're starting these horses so late. It's hard to know who they are, and can they take those steps forward in fashion? Because, Greg, we're just over 3 months away from the Derby.
Justify didn't start until February 17th.
Yes, he's a unicorn. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Justifies, and I think you'll agree with that. I know the game has changed, and horses start later, but there have not been horses that have started that late that have been successful. So Curlin tried it, and he didn't do it, and he clearly proved to be the best of them. It's a very tough thing to do. Very tough.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We'll talk more Eclipse Awards when we come back. Still 5 minutes to post, by the way, the finale out at Tampa, race 9, but more year-end top honors, including champion older dirt male. We'll be back.
And it's lights out, locked, pouring it on, running aggressively through the stretch to win by 7 easy lengths.
Here is Locked. Locked racing by on the outside for the lead. Locked, the wine steward, it is Locked.
Here comes Locked after Mulligan. Locked catching with every single stride, and Locked will win the Cigar Mile.
It's all about Locked, dominating the big cap, cruising home to an effortless 8-length romp.
The Fasig-Tipton Kentucky Winter Mix Sale, a catalog featuring quality breeding stock, including stakes caliber racing and/or broodmare prospects, mares in foal to America's top sires, and a strong selection of short yearlings, producing success stories for buyers year after year. Don't miss the last mix sale before the breeding sheds open. the Kentucky Winter Mix Sale, February 9th at Fasig-Tipton in Lexington, Kentucky. Where will you be?
They're coming down for the finish, and it is Silver State.
10-25, 10-25, at 25-35, 335,000.
Grade 1 winner Silver State, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back with you on our Friday coverage here. America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Naira Bets. Look across, a little stroll down the Brooklyn Bridge. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime.
It's not far from where you live.
That's my neighborhood.
Do you walk over the Brooklyn Bridge?
I have walked over, yeah. With
the kids?
No, my son's walked over the Manhattan Bridge.
I've walked over the Williamsburg. I've never walked over the others.
Post parade, Tampa, and we start with Cross Haste at 8-1.
Just looks a little bit of cut below these horses, a little cheaper than these.
Here's Morning Cup. This race, by the way, 6 furlongs, main track.
Yeah, I mean, this horse's
Good
last
effort
couple of races are okay. I think it fits, right?
Indeed.
It's a pretty wide open race.
This one, major player in Sky We Trust.
Yeah, is coming off a bit of layoff and have to reproduce Finger Lakes for him, so that always worries me a little.
9-year-old, by the way. My man Woody, tough to endorse.
Yeah, long shot in here.
Painted Warriors put together back-to-back efforts, whereas run pretty solid. May need another jump forward, though.
Yeah, it depends how much other speed develops. The 1 has speed, the 7 has speed, but I thought he was the best of the speed horses.
This one looks awfully good, I thought. Dundee.
Trainer has not had any horse off the claim at Tampa, but he's 11 for 48 off the claim on dirt, but low prices, $1.16 ROI.
Wide trip against the 5, who finished ahead of him in that start. Here's the 7, More Spring Spirit.
I think more of a synthetic than dirt horse.
Horse to beat, the 8, Secret Empire.
Totally agree. His last race makes him the horse to beat, and he's outside in a good spot stalking.
Big jump forward, though, wasn't it, that last start? But he's had a few.
He's
even
had some
bigger
fast races in the past.
Axel Steele, 20-1 outside.
Yeah, I didn't like him. His form seems to have declined. We haven't seen him
Does have
since
some pace.
Prairie Meadows. Yes, he could be forward.
All right, minute to post in this 9th, and there's quite a bit to like, including that big sort of reversal of form, and it was getting to a lot easier company, too, with Secret Empire.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think his recent races have made him the horse to beat in this race. I wouldn't run to take a short price on him, but I think he's the horse to beat. But I thought it was a pretty competitive race.
It was a 2-horse race for champion older dirt male. And maybe things got a little bit different. It's tough, if not for a disaster in that Jockey Club Gold Cup, could this have been a different story?
I think so. I think if Sierra Leone had won the Jockey Club Gold Cup, I think it might have helped push him forward. Forever Young ran the race that matters, and I believe he's a deserving winner and have no problem with it. There are a lot of people that don't want to vote for foreign horses that make only one start in America. Obviously, not enough of them because he won fairly easily. And I think he's a deserving winner of this category. He's a terrific racehorse. And I think it was nice to see him win because he ran very well in third in the race last year. And arguably, as you said, he could have won that Kentucky Derby. So he got that win he deserved. Sierra Leone had a terrific year, but he only had that one win. And it's hard to give it to him without more than one win. Maybe if he won the Jockey Club, he would have gotten it.
Torpedo Anna, unfortunately, did not get to go again in the Breeders' Cup. Retired before that, but she produced another terrific campaign and named champion older dirt female on her way out.
Personal Ensign was a terrific effort by her, as well as the runner-up. I thought she ran the better race, but she ran very well. They both did that day. And, she had an imperfect campaign, but at the end of the day, she won, I think, 2 Grade 1s. And it's not like there were older horses that had the kind of years that they deserved it more than her. Nice to see her go out with another win. She obviously was a very good
trainer, Ken McPeak, what a job he did with Torpedo Anna. She was just tremendous for the sport. Brought so many fans to the game. Ted Nafi, this was a no-brainer. Champion 2-year-old, 3-time Grade 1 winner.
Yeah, I mean, he's the biggest. There's no horse that was more overwhelming for a title than him. And once again, shame on you if you didn't vote for it, if you voted against him.
And yet 3 people did not.
Yeah, they shouldn't be voting, those people. I don't understand what a horse is supposed to do. He won 3 Grade 1s. He's undefeated. He won the Breeders' Cup. How is he not the champion?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Slam dunk. Well, he
Shouldn't
won
be
it
voting.
convincingly.
You
And
shouldn't be
congratulations again to Belmont on Fox. First ever live programming show win for Fox in the Eclipse Awards. And also winning with the Healing Ride as outstanding feature.
Yes, a very good feature as well. And yes, congrats to them and all the people involved. And, Mike Mulvihill has been such a great sport of ours. But, a lot of people behind the scenes as well, a lot of people that work very hard that never get any credit. And also, he's our boss, but Tony Alavato, who's, worked extremely hard behind the scenes. And he's somebody that never takes any credit for anything. But I think that he should get a lot of credit for that because without Mike and Tony, these shows aren't happening. No question about it. And Tony, obviously started out with you at TVG and did a tremendous job there as well, but he's been great here also. And I think he doesn't get the credit at times that he deserves in this industry.
He's been a visionary in this industry.
Yes, he has.
Race 9 at Tampa. Going to close things out with this 6-furlong starter optional claiming race where certainly the 8 pretty deserving favorite. I thought Dundee is interesting, but look, that horse is 7-2, not far behind. Yeah, where else do you look?
The 5 I thought was the best of the speeds. I just worry the pace could get kind of hot. I guess that'd be my other horse.
Okay. I thought the 1 was interesting. That last race was not good, but the races before that, I know it gets a little bit softer. They were very good. Some came at Gulfstream.
They were.
Speed, blinkers on the rail.
I agree. I worried he'd be under the gun here with other speeds outside.
Yeah, maybe.
But you're not wrong. He's got, for 10-1 shot, he's got fast enough races.
Jason Beam with the call. Here's the 9th from Tampa.
More Spring Spirit coming up. The final 3 going to be My Man Woody, Secret Empire, and Axel Steele will be all set for a start. Ready to close the show here on a Friday. It's been a beautiful afternoon. Hope everybody on track enjoyed it. Secret Empire, Jose Ferrer for Gerald Bennett to gate 8. Axel Steele, Wesley Ho for David Van Winkle to the outside. Axel Steele goes in. They're in the gate. Secret Empire acting up there, settles down. And the race is on. Dundee in the red colors away in good order. Right to that one's outside. More Spring Spirit is a little quicker, though. More Spring Spirit up to poke ahead in front of Dundee. Secret Empire out wide. Painted Warrior driving through down on the fence. And Axel Steele, 5 of them vying for the early advantage as they go through that first furlong. It's a length and a half more then. Back to a Morning Cup. And Sky We Trust, they race together in 6th and 7th. The 2 at the back are Cross Haste and My Man Woody. But the entire 9 of them only separated by about 7 lengths as they battle toward the far turn. 22.29 seconds for More Spring Spirit narrowly in front of Painted Warrior. Axel Steele up on the outside is into 3rd. Dundee's all the way back to 4th now with Secret Empire now taking over that spot. In behind that comes Morning Cup, who's in a bit of traffic right now in the black colors and white cap. Meanwhile up front, More Spring Spirit still in front. Rosario Montanez and More Spring Spirit around to the top of the lane, a length and a half to the good of Painted Warrior. Secret Empire on the far outside. Axel Steele battling on, still looking for room is Morning Cup, who's had a bad go of it thus far as they're inside the 8th pole. More Spring Spirit still there. More Spring Spirit to the 16th pole, a 3.5 length lead. Secret Empire, More Spring Spirit ran them off their feet at a price, 9-1 winner. Won it by 4 in the end. Secret Empire was 2nd. 3rd got close in Sky We Trust or Painted Warrior. Morning Cup had to settle for 5th.
This was an incredibly difficult horse to try and come up with.
I agree. I totally agree. This is a trainer who's won it 29% last year, for whatever that's worth. And this is a horse that had a form reversal from his last start, which was off of a near 3-month layoff. He got involved in the pace duel, but he got involved in the pace duel in this race with a horse that finished absolutely nowhere. I don't know what to tell you.
Whew. More Spring Spirits. Speed completely backed up. Moving back to dirt December 27th. This time keeps on going. We're going to talk more Derby Trail when we come back. Smarty Jones winner, Strategic Risk, dominant in that Derby prep to start the new year. For Mark Casse, we'll tell you what's next when we come back.
Tampa Bay Downs has plenty of history. Today, there are many new things to see and do, and perhaps most importantly, the track's racing surfaces have become a big draw for owners and trainers looking to find the winner's circle.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, the turf course is beautiful. And when we started training, me and my wife, we had horses that were turf horses, and we needed to spend the winter somewhere. So we give it a go, and we really enjoy the place, the atmosphere, and the fact that horses winter very well.
Well, as you can see, everybody comes here to run on the turf, get their horses ready for going north. And the dirt track is, when you leave here, you can pretty well win at any track. The horses get legged up good here, and it's a very safe track.
We just want to give our horses enough foundation and experience to be able to obviously go to bigger meets, meaning Kinlan, New York, and you know how tough that can be. And we feel that Tampa is the right place to do so.
There are several places to enjoy all of that great racing, with new stadium seating in the grandstand, covered cabanas on the first floor, and the veranda, which gives your group the best seat in the house, directly across from the winner's circle. There's more fun to be had next door at the Downs Golf Practice Facility, which was launched in 2003.
We offer a fully stocked pro shop. We carry about 9 different brands of apparel, clubs, golf balls, gloves, you name it. Full short game area. You can actually bet the horses inside of our pro shop. We like to call ourselves the only driving range where you can bet horses and play golf in the same day at the same location. You know, joining the golf with the racetrack for families is perfect. You know, you can come over here, hit some golf balls, and then go have some lunch over at the track and play the horses. And there's obviously a lot of stuff to do over there for kids as well. So it's a perfect place.
Fans can also experience the Silks Poker Room on the 3rd floor with a variety of high-stakes games and tournament competition. Whatever you're looking for on race day, you can find it at Tampa Bay Downs.
The word is approachable, both as a fan and as an owner. Everybody that you run into wants you to be here. You have a real connection to the people, and I'm talking from the racing office all the way down to concessions. So it's just a great place to be an owner. It's a great place to train horses. It's probably the best surface in the country, and there's no better place to be in the winter.
It's a special racetrack and one that I've not actually been able to visit yet, but it is on my list of must-sees.
Yeah, no, I'd love to go there too. We seem to be the only two people that haven't been there, and I've never heard a person say that they don't like going there. Everybody enjoys Tampa.
Quite a reversal of form on dirt.
I agree.
For more spring spirit.
I agree. I mean, and this horse absolutely buried the field, and it wasn't like the pace wasn't honest.
Synthetic specialist, 7 for 13 on synthetic. Just the second win from 10 tries on dirt.
Yeah, he absolutely buried the field. I mean, the pace still didn't get as strong, but they were moving up front. This horse ran tonight. I didn't see it, that's for sure.
Secret Empire, of course, there. Big favorite, winding up second. Oaklawn, we hope they're able to return next week with their meet kicking off, but weather could be an issue, and of course, we'll see what that means. With the Southwest on the road to that Triple Crown. Strategic Risk is winner of the Smarty Jones. Early turn of the page for the new year. You see racing scheduled to resume January 30th. Southwest scheduled for the 31st. Strategic Risk so dominant in that Smarty Jones, that's his comeback race, the Southwest.
Well, we'll see. I mean, hopefully they can get it in, and it's a problematic situation because I think it's 29 days. It's scheduled next Saturday. It would be 29 days before the Rebel, which is March 1st. I want to say March 1st, on that Sunday, March 1st. So, it'll be hard if they move it. Now it becomes 3 weeks. Very hard to run in both. We'll hope they can run.
Let's catch up with Megan Burgess, who has more on the Smarty Jones winner.
Well, here with Smarty Jones, Victor, Strategic Risk with Caden Arthur, the assistant to Mark Cassie. And Caden, he was just so impressive back last month now as we prep for the second jewel of the series. And how has he been doing since the Smarty Jones?
Been great. He had a good work the other day, went 5/8, cooled out great, walked great. I mean, looks good today, day after. We're excited for it. I mean, he ran impressively last out. So we're excited for this $1 million Southwest and more Derby points.
Well, your boss, Mark Cassey, had certainly been excited about him as well in that performance, as he should have. But he also really liked the way Silent Tactic had performed as well in that race. Instead of perhaps an allowance type group, he's going to be coming back in the Southwest, and Christian Torres has been aboard him in the morning as well.
Yes, yeah, slow fractions in the Smarty Jones and Silent ran on and looked great doing it, closed good. So we're kind of excited. We're going to be maybe some speed in the Southwest, and maybe that'll help Silent. He worked phenomenal as well. Christian Torres is going to be riding him, so we're excited about that. Hopefully he can get a good trip. I mean, a good trip last time, but hopefully get a little bit lucky.
Is Javi coming back to ride Strategic Risk this time around?
Yes, yeah, he's staying on. He's 2 for 2 on us, so.
Well, that is good news to hear. Best of luck. Looked like Strategic Risk wanted to get in on the conversation as well, but definitely didn't look like the distances would bother him whatsoever, guys, as we continue on to the first Saturday of May.
All right, Megan, thank you. Interesting horse who looked so good winning that Smarty Jones. Target is the Southwest, weather permitting. We'll see what happens next week. And then, yeah, you're right on March 1st, the Rebel. So that schedule could be changing and targets for these horses. We'll see what happens.
Weather's tough, and you know, feel bad when they took the break and they try to come back. And listen, I just hope, you know, with all the snow coming this weekend, everybody stays safe, the most important thing, and hopefully get the race in sooner than later.
Again, tomorrow down in South Florida, Gulfstream Park, it is Pegasus Day and the Pegasus World Cup Invitational. The big one with Disco Time putting that perfect record on the line. 4-year-old debut. He's got speed. He's got the inside where that first turn comes up almost immediately.
Every race, you know, is sort of a trial run to see if there are horses out there that'll be ready to run against Sovereignty, you know, because obviously he's the big dog coming back. But Disco Time showed some signs that he's kind of horse that, with the improvement he showed late in his 3-year-old year, maybe he could be that horse. Interesting that they were originally talking about going to the Saudi Cup with him, and you would think Juddmonte, you know, Saudi connections, going there. They changed that because Saudi Cup, I think it's in 3 weeks after this, to run here. It's a big test for him. He drew well to get the rail, but he's also under the gun on the inside. He's the horse to beat. I have no argument with being the favorite, but it's a short price. I think Brad's other horse, Tapan Street. A friend of mine was saying that he's been working a lot better since his last race, and I thought that race might be a little better than that 90 buyer suggests. So I think Tapan Street's going to step forward. The only horse to beat Sovereignty last year.
And of course, former Whitney Classic winner, 7-year-old debut now coming up for White Barrio, who is back for more for Saffie Joseph Jr.
Listen, I didn't like him at all in this race last year, and he only won by 6 1/4 lengths. So it's not like I've been right about him. And he did run well in the Whitney. He did not run well in the Jockey Club, and you're talking about a horse that was scratched by the vets before the Breeders' Cup. He's a tough one to trust, but
8
who knows?
for 10 at Gulfstream. Does that qualify for horse for course?
Well, he's 10 for 24 lifetime, so right. You know, he's 2 for 14 outside of there, but he's probably been in the right spots in a lot of Gulfstream races too. But
that happens tomorrow. Race 13, 5:39 Eastern start time. We are back again next Friday, January 30th. We hope with opening day from Oak Lawn Park. It was Strike a Rose, Manny Franco for Jeremiah Engard, impressive first-time starter in the 5th, winning at first asking, and big reason that we had these big payouts and a carryover in the pick 6. Liberty Rising 29-1 for trainer Pat Quick. In that 6th, Omar Hernandez Moreno aboard for the upset score. We'll see you next Friday.
Witness history.
Sandman is getting a little bit closer with Hypnus.
Greatness.
Here comes Cole Battle and Juan Vargas rolling towards the lead.
And legends in the making.
Cole Battle, the story continues. Cole Battle does it.
Sunday, March 1st at the 2026 Rebel Stakes. Watch champions rise on the road to the Kentucky Derby and compete for a $1 million purse. It's all happening just a short drive away at Oak Lawn Hot Springs. Plan your stay today and come join the fun.
Next Saturday on America's Day at the Races, join Lafitte Pincay, Megan Burgess, and Richard Migliori for Oak Lawn Park Southwest, the Kentucky Derby Prep, and Acacia Clement live from Tampa Bay Downs. Saturday, January 31st, 12:30 Eastern on FS2.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
New York breds. Race them. Respect them. Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.